Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. To those of you who got here a little early with us and had to help us set up our second plan B, thank you so much. And thank you to the venue for hosting us. I just wanted to say I'm really excited about today and our great event here, Light Your Business on Fire with Marla.
Yes.
I'm getting introduced to my favorite people in the world. I met Marla Coffin 6 years ago, 6.5+ years ago. I met her for an interview on a Friday evening. Had about a 2-hour talk with her, fell in love with her business, fell in love with her, and couldn't wait to get started on Monday, and we've been together ever since. And let me tell you what I know about this person. I was gonna say this lady. So one of my things I say to everybody about Marla Coffin is one day I want to grow up and be just like her. And I actually genuinely mean this. I'm telling you, and I'm always grateful she never gets insulted since I'm so much older than her. But Marla started her company, Marla Management, which I now run, with 20 units to get free rent and built it into a thriving business that's a big part of the community and houses 10% of the community here in Windsor-Essex County. We have 40 full-time staff that enjoy benefits, and and we're really part of what I consider to be a very special team, and that's because of Marla Coffin. Marla Coffin in 2019 went on maternity leave, came back and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open 4 more companies. And that's what she did. And then she went in 2024 and had 2 more babies. And now she's opening a new company, and that's what we're here to talk about today. And I'm so excited. And with that, let me introduce Marla Coffin.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me talk a little bit about Chris Hanna. I met Chris Hanna in 2020 when Marla Coffin, in her infinite wisdom, said, geez, I don't know what I don't know, and I better go out and get some help. Because I really want to grow, and I want to figure out what I need to do to level up. And one of the things Can
you guys hear in the back? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the people, sorry, I guess I can hear this better. One of the people who she encountered was Chris Hanna, and I have been working with Chris Hanna personally. And let me tell you about All In Content. I am no social media guru. I am the opposite. I'm a turtle hiding in my shell. And if it were up to me to do all the social media, and I met somebody today and said, hey, I know you, because he saw me in my videos, Bob. And you know what? He would never have saw me in my videos if that had ever been left up to me, because social media is an overwhelming experience for me. I don't know the how, I don't know the content, I don't know who, I don't know what. It would be so overwhelming to me, I wouldn't do it, and I'd find another way, or I wouldn't do it at all. But you cannot not do social media and advertising. If you're not promoting yourself, then who will, right? And one of Chris's favorite lines is, don't worry about the how, worry about the who, and the who is All In Content with Chris Hanna.
Thank you.
Here you are, you've been the 2 hosts, and you pass the mic over to Marla Coffin.
Thank you. Go ahead, Chris, you go ahead.
So thank you, Judy, for those kind words. So again, I'll introduce myself a little bit here. So again, Chris Hanna with All In Content. I sometimes call myself also the all-in solopreneur, because I really believe in going all in and on everything that you do. And I've been a solopreneur for a number of years. My wife is Raquel here behind the camera today. She's also, with us and part of the business. At All In Content, what we do is we really make videos easy, and we make content creation easy for businesses in the Windsor-Essex region. I say the Windsor-Essex region because we're all in on this area. We don't actually help outside of the region. We're only focused on businesses here. And into making videos easy, because a lot of people, as Judy said, they kind of maybe overthink it, or it's more complicated. Or they say, I want to do video, I want to do content, but then they never do. Anybody guilty of that? They say they want to do something and they just never do it? Got a bunch of hands that kind of come up. A lot of hands that come up. That is the reality. And I had heard so many people do this, and they would say, I want to be on camera, I just don't feel confident. And then I developed this system where I batch recorded everything. So then I would be able to create enough content to really set myself up for months. And then people started asking me, hey Chris, can you do that for my business? My personal record is I recorded 227 videos in one day, which means I didn't have to do content for almost a year for myself. I'm only just now starting to produce new content because of that. And when I work with clients, you know, I got Jordan at the back there as an example. You haven't posted a video yourself in over a year. The only time he would post content before is on his birthday to say, come to Cramden's. But now he gets recognized and seen, and that's the power of video.
What day is your birthday? All right, next July. Cramden's.
Everybody show up to Cramden's. But that is the power of video, is that you get consistently seen. People recognize you. You don't know who's watching is the other piece as well. So very excited to be here today. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about AI. Talk about different ways you actually leverage video, not just social media as well. So very excited to be here today. With that, I'll pass it on to Marla.
Thank you, Chris. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Marla Coffin. I'm the CEO and founder of Winfield Victoria Holdings. We are a business that owns a couple of property management firms. Our core business, Marta Management, it's a rental management company. That's the first business that I founded in 2010. And it also owns a few businesses that were created along the way for the purpose of vertical integration. We own a bookkeeping firm called Vision and Numbers. Anybody that needs a bookkeeper, holler. And by the way, the bookkeeper is not me. Let's be clear about that. But I can hook you up. I co-own a lawn and snow removal company with Marcus. Hey, Marcus. And we also created a business called the Loading Dock Supply Company. We did that a few years ago because we were tired of driving to and from Home Depot that were not really near to any of our rental properties. So we said, you know what? Let's rent a warehouse that is local to our rentals, and we found one that is within 10 kilometers of 90% of our rentals. We filled it with 400 SKUs of material. Our maintenance techs go online on a piece of tech that was built by Anamik, who's at the back, and they go ahead and order. They get there, we load them in, and they go back to the job site. There's no shopping the aisles, no decision making for them, no delays. We did that as a solution to our current customer base. We have about 100 multifamily units that we own ourselves, and now I've realized into 2024 that my real zone of genius is working with other business owners. The place that I can really flourish is being able to share the mistakes I've made, the shortcuts I've learned, and the things that ultimately have gotten me to where I am with somebody else to be able to compress decades into days. So you're going to hear a little bit more about my story today and a little bit about that. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children, Berkeley, Bentley, and Boston. For those of you who don't know, I think Judy mentioned it. I had twins in January, and I have a beautiful 5-year-old Berkeley, proud mama, and happy to be here with you all today, being able to add value to you and your business. So welcome to Light Your Business on Fire. We'll turn it back over to Judy for a couple housekeeping items, and we'll dive in. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. All right, so I just have a couple of quick housekeeping things. Restrooms far back. Front door is open. If you've not signed in with me, please do. Katie, I got you, don't worry. Don't forget about the draw table at the back. Make sure you get your ballots in. And we wanted to thank Tim Hodgson with Hub International Insurance. He is the sponsor of our event here. So thank you so much. Okay, we're going to get this started. Marla's going to start things off for us.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my origin story and how I got to where I am, and I think it's going to be really interesting for some of you business owners who are growing and evolving. We started our business in 2010. Basically by accident. I graduated from the University of Windsor with a degree in political science. Wasn't totally sure what I was going to do. I was considering professional fundraising. And we ended up getting a side job as a landlord, living in an apartment building collecting rent so that our rent would be free and it could help us to save to buy a house. Okay? We did that. And within 3 weeks, the property owner contacted me directly and said, hey, the property management company that hired you isn't doing the best job. We're not happy with them. We're going to get rid of them. Will you manage it entirely? And I was like, hell no. I have a full-time job and I'm looking for a career in my field. He said, well, here's the problem. You can't stay in the superintendent's apartment that you just moved into if you can't do the property management. It was a really quick flip of the switch. I was like, forget it, we'll do it, no problem. I'm not moving again. We just moved in and painted, got settled in. We'll do it. So we started being the active property manager, again, as a side job. My husband, Dale, many of you know Dale, he worked full-time at the University of Windsor. He was there for 10 years. And I was working a one-year contract at Victim Services in professional fundraising. So we dug in and we said, okay, let's do this. Like I said, saved to buy a house, why not? Let's do it. Quickly, that owner called me and said, hey, I bought a 12-plex. Can you manage it? It's near where you live. And I was like, oh, okay. Then he called and said, hey, I bought an 18-unit building on Lincoln and Assumption. Can you manage it? And I was like, sure. Yeah, we can do it, no problem. Then he started calling saying, hey, I have a friend. I have an investor. I know someone. They can't find a good property manager. Will you do it? Before long, my contract at Victim Services was up. It was a one-year contract. And the landlord came to me and said, we want to invest $120,000 in renovations into this building. Will you project manage it? I don't know what he was thinking, but I was like, sure, I'll do it. But I'm looking for a career in my field. I kept saying, I'm looking for a job in my field. But for now, yeah, I can manage a renovation. So there I was, shopping the aisles of Home Depot, putting toilets in the back of my Ford Focus, trying to figure it all out. Dale was still working at the University of Windsor, and we just did it. And before long, we realized maybe there's actually something to this. Soon after that, the landlord pushed us a little bit and said, look, if you're going to do this, you need to do it. You don't even have a company name. And I said, we have a company name. He said, well, what's your company name? I was like, Marla and Dale. I'm the Mar, he's the Da. Somebody's got to be, right? I said, Marta. He's like, okay, Marta. Well, when we actually went to register our business, Marta was already taken. So there you get Marta Management. So there was where Marta Management was born. Soon after, we moved from that apartment into our house. And within 3 weeks of living there, I was like, you know what? This isn't working for me. Out with the couch, in with a desk. We immediately converted our living room to an office. And before long, we had 3 desks in that living room. Dale, again, still working at the university, doing showings in the evening. I was working at Marta morning, noon, and I mean, it was me and me, basically. Then, of course, we started getting help. And before long, our dining room table, which was a long table like this one, started to get iMac computers, one after another, and then 3 across the backside in our dining room. Eventually, we put a cutting board on our stovetop with a computer monitor so that tenants could come in the front door, get their keys to their new home, and watch their move-in video before they moved in. Our entire home was being taken over. We started hiring staff. We needed help. I couldn't do it all. Dale's help at night was just not quite enough. And before we knew it, we had 2 bedrooms upstairs converted to offices, and we were literally living in our bedroom. Literally. We were having meetings on the front porch, meetings on the back porch, tenants in the front door, vendors in the back door. We had awesome neighbors. I'll say that much. Awesome neighbors. They were very good to us. So, here we were in a position where all of a sudden we were entrepreneurs. What a crazy thing. I didn't go to school for business. I don't know anything about accounting. I definitely don't know how to run a company or hire people, or certainly have no interest in HR or managing people at all. Let me tell you, for those business owners out there that have staff, you know that's pretty much what it's all about, right? The numbers and the people. But one thing became another, and before I knew it, I was doing all the jobs. Literally, I was doing all the jobs. So, of course, I was doing the jobs you'd expect in property management, right? I was showing apartments, I was signing leases, collecting rent, but I was also doing other crazy jobs because there are lots of to-dos, I'm sure just like in all of your businesses. There are lots of crazy things. Cody, I'm sure you do some crazy things that you're like, what am I doing in this pest control company? What is happening right now, right? You would have found me one time standing in somebody's tub with my pants rolled up to my knees, with a wrench turning off their cartridge because there's water spewing out all over. I once had to collect a plumbing bill from a tenant because the plumber found dentures in the toilet. Ugh, right? Yeah, I know. Okay? We were on call 24 hours a day because who else would be on call? And when you manage where people live, let me tell you, there's more false fire alarms in this city than you'd ever expect. Okay? When we had someone running across rooftops of our properties in pursuit with the police, I was there. I was there. When we had a boiler blow up, I was there. Dale was there. Somebody had to be. One year on Christmas, we had an emergency call with water running through someone's ceiling. That sucks. That's the worst. It's the worst for the tenant and it's worse for the person on call because you're like, really? Today? So I knew the person we were going to visit, the tenant we were going to visit, wouldn't be having anyone to celebrate with. So we brought her Christmas dinner. We went over. We said, hey, Jen, we're here. We brought you some Christmas dinner. She immediately brought us into her living room to her Christmas tree where she had used holiday cards as her decorations. And there was one to Dale and Marla. She gave us the greeting card and I said, Jen, we're here because there's water pouring in the unit below you. Like, we got to get to it here. And she said, oh, come with me. It's coming from the kitchen. Oh, it's coming from the kitchen. We walked into her kitchen and her faucet was running full blast and it was plugged. So it was spilling over onto the floor. And I said, Jen, what are you doing? Why do you have your sink plugged and running? And you know what she said? The sound of the water is really soothing. I became the linchpin of the business. I was the one who was saying those keys are on a blue tag in the upper left corner of the key cabinet. We were the ones, Dale and I, going to Best Buy the night before a new staff person started to feverishly get and set up a computer so they had somewhere to work the next morning. You know, that 11 p.m. shit, they need an email address. We got to get to this. That was me. I was doing all the things. And for the small business owners in the room, you know what that's like. Because when there is nobody else, it's absolutely you, right? It's absolutely you. So, I went through all the struggles, all the challenges, all the pain. I've probably hired 300 people in the last 15 years. Some good, some bad, some great, some just in the wrong seat. That happens too, right? We found ourselves in a position where we were thinking about Marta when we got up. We were thinking about Marta when we went to bed. And we were thinking about Marta in between. My parents both work for us at Marta. Dale's mom works for us at Marta. I saw the look, I know. We all go through it. And so what happened was we were talking about Marta even at family dinners. Even when we'd go out with our family, it was, who's the newest hire? What's the biggest problem? What's the next solution? What do you think we should do? How do you think we should do it? Did you hear about this and did you hear about that? It was all consuming. How many people here have been out to dinner and they just spend an extra couple minutes in the bathroom to send a few email? Don't lie. Yeah, hands up. I know, don't give me that. For sure, for sure. One of the things that I've been most proud of in my career when working in the day-to-day is the fact that I was getting 5,000 emails a month. And my median response time was 28 minutes. You know what that means. You can clap for that, or you can realize that's a big problem, right? Shit, if your email response time is median 28 minutes, you are emailing morning, noon, and night. When you wake up at 3 a.m. as a business owner, what happens? And nobody's going back to bed. You got things on your mind, you've got new ideas, or you're sending email, right? You're like talking yourself out of it. Don't look at the phone. Don't, because once it starts, you can't stop it, right? Yeah, right? It's tough. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. So, Dale and I decided we wanted to start taking more vacations because as business owners, you would think you could have the privilege to leave the city. Good luck, right? Good luck. So we thought, well, there's got to be a way to it. There's got to be a way. Even if we're the core of the business, there has to be a way. So we decided that we'd spend 2 hours every day in the morning sending email and managing the business from wherever we were. Here, there, anywhere, 2 hours. And we thought, this will work. This is a solution. What the hell is that shit? That is nonsense, my friends. But that was what we put in place to cope with the workload. Because even when we had more staff, we still didn't have departments or managers or bosses. Hi, we hardly had job descriptions, cripe, let alone anything else, right? Yeah, you know, you're like, yeah, right? So we went to it, and we would get up in the morning and we'd spend a couple hours trying to manage from afar, including, I'll tell you a quick little one, we spent almost a full day in a McDonald's in Hawaii on our honeymoon trying to fix problems in our business. Okay?
That's all we saw of Maui.
That is all we saw of Maui was the McDonald's and the Wi-Fi. They did have decent Wi-Fi. That was good. It was good. It's like a do what you got to do kind of thing, right? But when that's where your living comes from, and that's how you put food on the table, and when you become responsible for putting food on other people's table, right? When you become responsible for sending other people's kids to dance class, all of a sudden, that need goes way up. The responsibility gets so much higher. But let me tell you the problem. We were hustling, we were grinding, we were doing all the things. The biggest problem is we were confusing $20 an hour jobs with $500 an hour jobs, because it all just becomes one big pile. To do the next thing, to do the next thing, to do the next thing. You guys know, there's just something else to be done. It's got to be done, right? What do? Do you shovel the driveway, or do you figure out how to get more customers? Well, they kind of both have to get done. And that becomes the challenge of every business owner and every entrepreneur that I know. And at some point, you get to a point where you're in a business that you just can't keep doing it yourself. Mark, how long do you want to remove snow for? Wherever Jeff is, how long do you want to be on a roof, Jeff? Like, it just doesn't work. You can't do it forever, right? And even if you physically can do it forever, based on the type of company or business you have, do you want to? Do you want to? In 2019, we had our daughter Berkeley. Leading up to that, I was like, yeah, maternity leave. Judy just fell off her chair, literally. Okay. But I was like, I deserve this. I deserve to be at home with my baby. She deserves it. I've worked really hard for, at that point, 10 plus years to build this thing. Surely, I've done enough to be able to earn some time at home with my baby. So we put systems in place. We hired some people. We created responsibilities. We delegated, right? But let me tell you, when I had my daughter at 34 weeks, so early, everyone acted like there was a fire. What do we do? What do we do? I'm like, come on, people. But that was because what I didn't understand was that I needed 2 people to do my job, or maybe 3 people to do my job. Because when that happened, my primary responsibility in our core company was to be the main contact person for 350 property owners. That was my main responsibility. And I had no idea that that was not a one-person job, because I was doing it by myself, and I was doing it pretty darn good. But I found out real quick, and within 2, maybe 3 weeks, we'll say, I was pretty much back at it. I mean, I was working from home. I had some more flexibility. I wasn't working the hours I was. For years, we had worked 6 and 7 days a week, 10 and 12 hours a day, sometimes more, right? Every time I call Cody, he's like, sorry, I'm still out, right? That's what it is. That's what it is, right? Brett's here. He's got a full-time day job and his side job that's his entrepreneurial adventure. Tell me that's not morning, noon, and night, right? That's what it was. So when we had my daughter, of course, when you bring, expand your family, usually things shift, things change. Anybody that has kids knows that. So we stopped working 6 and 7 days a week, and we started working 5.5 or 6.5 days a week. And we stopped working. I was like, I can't do 14-hour days and be a mom. It's not a thing. So we started working more 12-hour days, sometimes 10. Right? It's what it is. It's like ingrained in you. And like I said, remember, $20 problems, $500 problems, it's one pile. Just got to get to the next thing. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Struggle's real. In 2021, we hired our first ever business coach. And he told us something really interesting and really important. He said, why are you doing all that? Why don't you hire someone to do that? Why don't you buy back your time? Who's heard of the phrase buy back your time? Throw your hand in the air. Lots of you. Okay, I have great news. If you've heard of the phrase buy back your time, you're ahead of where I was in 2021. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, buy back who? What? How? This is a thing? It's a thing. And in business, you often hear that you don't know what you don't know. We've all heard that, right? Of course. But the interesting thing about that concept is that there are some things that you realize you don't know. I do not know how to waterproof a basement, and I'm aware of it. Okay? I definitely don't know how to write up a mortgage, and I know it. But then there are things that you don't know, that you don't know. You have no awareness. You literally you don't even realize that it's out there. And this particular individual that we had hired brought a lot of things to our attention that we just didn't know were out there. We thought for a long time that we would just be grinding it out at Marla forever. And by the way, can I just say, we loved it. Please make no mistake. It drove us. It was awesome. We felt like we were winning. We were growing. We were getting clients. Even the hard stuff was all right. So please make no mistake about that. We were both enjoying ourselves, but it was a grind. It was a constant grind. Dale's parents owned an office supply company in his hometown. My grandfather owned a print shop here in Windsor and Essex County. So we both have a little bit of an entrepreneurial background, but let me tell you, all of those people were technicians. They were the ones running their own show. They were doing the waterproofing, they were shoveling the snow, they were applying the pesticide. Whatever the situation was, they were the technician from the day they started till the day they finished their career. They were the ones. So in 2021, when we started working with this person, all of a sudden we started to realize, maybe, just maybe, there's something more out there. Maybe there's something bigger to this game. Did you guys know that there are levels to this? There are levels to this. I found that out in 2021. I was just in my world grinding it out. $20, $500, just doing the next thing. And then all of a sudden, I was made aware that there's more out there. So we started to vertically integrate. We started to figure out how to serve our client base better, how to expand our revenue, which of course expanded our profit, how to increase our margin. We hired someone to be an internal bookkeeper at one of our businesses here on Shores Property Management. And she came on board, she worked for us for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, she came in and said, we have a problem. This is not full-time work. This is like part-time work, maybe. Do you have more for me to do? I need a full-time job. You hired me full-time, I need full-time work. Let me just say, kudos to Charisse, because who does that? Yeah, right? You guys have all hired people. Who does that? We came back and met with her the next day and we said, hey, you want to start a bookkeeping company instead? We'll do it together. And that is our partner. She's the bookkeeper. She runs the business. It services all of our businesses and 70 other monthly clients that they do books for across Canada, across industries. Because at the end of the day, we said, you know what? I think we can just serve ourselves. We started and came up with, hey, why don't we just remove our own snow? And so we partnered with Marcus, who I've worked with for the last 15 years. And we said, hey, you want to do this together? You're already doing it. Let's do it together. We'll figure out how to make this happen and get you off the other end of that shovel. Let's do it, right? Because at the end of the day, we have all these properties. We probably have 4,000 doors between our two businesses that we manage. We're paying somebody else to remove our snow. Why not pay ourselves? I already told you the story in my introduction about the loading dock supply company. Why would I buy from Home Depot when I could buy from myself? We found a way to buy product at bulk pricing to have enough of a margin between the bulk cost and shelf pricing to pay for a picker full time, to rent a warehouse, and to make some profit. And to benefit our end user, to benefit our customer base. Do you know how much time is wasted in the real estate industry with contractors walking up and down the aisle trying to pick which tile is best? We eliminated all of that. We said you have gray and you have beige. That's it. There's one of each. We have two colors of paint. There's gray and there's beige. That's it. Because we knew that decision fatigue was a real thing. It was taking time for our contractors and costing our clients money. As we started to get through some of this vertical integration, we started to delegate some of our responsibilities at Marla because, of course, it's really difficult to open these other businesses and own rental property and et cetera if you're spending all your time at one business. So we started to delegate. We started to really work toward creating departments, promoting people, making sure people actually had job descriptions, they knew what their responsibilities were, performance reviews. We introduced health and dental benefits. Health and dental benefits are one of the most concrete benefits an employee can have, especially, in my opinion, in Windsor-Essex County. I can't tell you how far that went for attracting employees and employee retention. One of the best things we've done in our business in 15 years. Wasn't cheap. When we did it, I was like, I don't know. One of the best things we've done to retain employees. Because we all know how hard it is to find good people, yeah?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's harder to keep them. Benefits went a long way. Now, as we started to continue on and delegate and give other people responsibilities, we said, you know what? Maybe it's time to test the business. Let's step back. Dale and I both step back from the business, from the day-to-day, in June of 2023 for 1 month. It was long enough to expose the cracks, not too long for anything to go too wrong. Okay? And we said, let's just see. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. Hopefully this will tell us what else we have to work on, what else we have to delegate, the areas that we're still working in that we have no business being in. You know, the things you do because you've always done it. You guys know the things I'm talking about. So in June 2023, we stepped back from the business, and I'm going to tell you what we did in June of 2023. We did we things. And what I mean by that is we decided when we were going to go to the gym. We decided that we were going to walk our 5-year-old to and from school every day. We took a little vacation. We did the things that we wanted to prioritize. That hasn't been true in 15 years. I mean, in a roundabout way, I guess it has, but we've been prioritizing the businesses, right? So at the end of June 2023, I said, this is too good. I got a little taste of the good life. I was like, this is too good. I'm never going back. And I never have. I said, there's got to be a better way. There's more to this. So since June of 2023, I've spent my time, as Judy mentioned, I had twins in January, so we've got some awesome family time. And I've been able to spend my time getting to a point where I've realized my true zone of genius is here with you. My highest and best use is being able to tell other business owners about the mistakes I made. Being able to share the shortcuts I've learned. Compressing decades into days so that it doesn't take you 15 years to get to where you want to go. If you want to back away from the day-to-day, I can tell you how to do it. If you want to vertically integrate, I can show you how. If you want to be in a place where you're making money, but not necessarily exchanging direct time for dollars, then we should have a conversation. Because I'm going to tell you something. In this inflationary world, which we all know is tough, we all see it at the gas pumps and the grocery stores, every one of us, you have to find a way to make money while you're sleeping. You cannot just exchange time for money. It just doesn't work well enough. And if you do, you might not have enough of the good life. You might not get the time you want to prioritize the things that are most important to you. Some of us are lucky enough that maybe we will, maybe we can. But most of us need to find a way to provide and create income producing assets. MARTA is no longer a job for me. It's an income producing asset. I'm not hustling. I'm not grinding. I'm enjoying. I'm prioritizing spending time with business owners, doing private coaching, business consulting, business intensives, and events like this so that I can tell you about the ways that I overcame some of the things you're going through right now. So that I can share with you some of the cheat codes to getting there faster. Because I'll tell you something, and you're probably learning this yourself along the way as business owners. As you evolve as a leader, you will see things further, faster than anybody else in the room. You'll see it further and faster than the people that work with you. And as you evolve as a person and as your own leader, you will continue to see further, faster. When I brought someone into my business and he immediately said, "Why are you doing that?" Of course, what's every business owner's answer? Because that is how we've always done it. That's the way it's done. That's the reason. I'm going to tell you what that thing was so you can have a quick little laugh. When people paid their rent, as we got bigger, we realized we can't go door to door. We can't knock on everyone's door on the same day of the month and be like, "Hi, we're here for your rent," right? And like, people didn't really have checks anymore. E-transfers were a huge pain in the booty. If anybody accepts e-transfers as payment, you'll know it sucks to reconcile. So we said, "I've got it. Here's my bank account number. Here's my transit number. You can go to any TD in the city, which as a bank have awesome hours, and pay your rent at the teller. All you have to do," she's shaking her head like hell no. "All you have to do is text or call us and tell us that you paid, how much you paid, and what branch you paid it at." Because while I was just complaining about reconciling e-transfers that say on your bank statement, e-transfer, 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 when you go about it in the way I've just described, it says branch 0424. Branch 3880, $585. Paul, didn't know that was yours. Sorry. So sorry about your eviction notice. X-nay that. It was hell. It sucked. But we thought this was a solution. Now, people are calling. People are texting. They're saying, "Hey, I paid my rent. I paid $685 at the branch on Ottawa." Okay, that's branch 524. No problem. What's your name? Okay. And then people were giving me Post-its. They were like, "Here, Marla, Joey paid the rent. Here, Carolyn paid her rent." I'm like, what the hell? So we created a Google Doc. No problem. And now we have this thing called the rent doc, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines long that say, "Rob, 1246 Dufferin, $585, September 1st, downtown branch." Tell me that's any easier. Come on. But it took someone else coming into my business who can see further faster to go, why are you doing that? And I was like, because we've always done it that way. And we can't knock on everyone's door on the first. And he was like, you guys are idiots. There is a better way. We just didn't know it. And I was too ingrained in my day-to-day operation, confusing $20 an hour problems and $500 an hour problems to get my head out of the sand and work on my business instead of in my business and go to the bank and say there's got to be a better way. So at that time, we joined the bill payment platform, and now, just like you can pay Enwin, you can pay Marla Management. Genius. But sometimes it takes somebody else to say, why are you doing it like that? It isn't the best way. There is an easier, better way. Because if they're more evolved as a leader than you, they can see further faster. So, here I am with a mission and a vision to help every small business owner in Windsor and Essex County to be able to get to a place where they can use my shortcuts and my cheat codes to be in a position to ultimately be able to get where they're going in their business. If that's get out of the day-to-day, if that's grow provincially, if that's grow nationally, if that's convert into an online business, if that's create recurring revenue. That's my mission, that's my goal. So, I'm going to share with you the two things that I think have been most pivotal in the last 15 years. There's a sheet in your duotang that indicates advisory board at the top. How many people's business, throw your hand in the air, how many people's business right now have an advisory board? Okay, awesome. Liz, Dale, great. Okay. You need an advisory board for your business. It's one of the best things I ever did. An advisory board for your business is looking to people that you can count on to meet with you and talk through problems in your business, ideas that you have, solutions, challenges, especially if you're a sole business owner. Some people have business partners. I have, bless his soul, had Dale to yap his ear off for 15 years about all my problems and work through them. But we don't all have that. And even when I had that, we needed an outside perspective. We were too ingrained in the day-to-day. So, we created an advisory board. Who are you going to ask to be on your advisory board? You can ask friends. You can ask people in your industry, people you look up to, people that maybe you'd consider a mentor in your life. You can ask your family. When I started my business, and for a long time, I looked to my dad as an advisor. He worked for 32 years on the line at Ford Motor Company. And I wanted a perspective from someone who was an employee and who worked for a big corporation. But as you grow and evolve, that might change too. My brother-in-law's here, Chris. He's been on our advisory board from day one. He's still on today. But that will evolve as you evolve. We also have the president of MasterCard Canada on our advisory board, who's a personal friend. So you have to look to tap into the people in your life who clap when you win. Those are the people that you want on your advisory board. Like I said, it can be your family, it can be your friends. If you maybe have a personal friend who's a lawyer or has some sort of expertise in your industry, those are the people you're going to ask. I want you to write down 5 names of the people you can ask. Usually an advisory board, you could meet monthly, you could meet quarterly, and usually people who are on an advisory board don't charge you to be there because they're clapping when you win. This has been a huge key to our growth and development in the last 15 years. Huge. So take a minute to do that. Good.
So let me know when you need to switch to your slide.
Yes, in 1 moment. Basically, as soon as they finish this, I'm going into that immediately. Okay. You might be sitting there thinking, geez, I don't feel like I have anyone I can ask. Ask a parent, a neighbor, a sibling, a friend, someone you went to school with. That's something they can put on their resume too. You want to ask people who you trust and people who clap when you win. And as you grow as a leader, as your business evolves, those people may change. Sometimes these people that agree can't do it forever, but they can do it today and they can give you counsel and they can help mentor you when you're not sure what's right or what's wrong. And by the way, as small business owners, all too often, it's more than that, it's you know the answer. But sometimes it's just really tough to make the call. Sometimes it's just really tough to make the call. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to finish that up. And I encourage you, if you don't get through it all, take it home. Think on it. Who are the people in your life that clap when you win? Who are the people that you trust with the details of your business? The second thing that I would really encourage you to do is find a way to be in a room with someone who can see further faster. And to really stick to the mission I talked about earlier of helping as many business owners in Windsor-Essex use my cheat codes and my shortcuts, I have created a program to help you step away from the day-to-day. We're going to offer today a group business intensive for anybody that's interested. It's going to be a full in-person day at our office here in Windsor. And we're going to pull a number of different modules for that group business intensive. I've thrown a few up here based on the people interested in doing this. So based on where you're at in your business, do we need to develop core values? How many people here have core values in their company? Like stated, defined, clear, written down core values. Ish, a few. You better have them written, and you better know them. Our core values at Marla are frictionless customer experience, growth, culture, and speed. We think, act, and do things quickly, period. You need to understand what those are. They're pivotal for your culture. We're going to help define your end game. We can look at financial literacy. How many people here know what a balance sheet is? Don't lie. Legitimately, deeply understand what a balance sheet is. Ish. You all need to know this to its core. Julia, I hope so. Julia's our auditor. I hope so. Okay? You need to understand these financials. And by the way, do you get financials often enough to use it as a cornerstone to making decisions? If not, you need to make a change. And when you're in a high growth phase as a small business, you might even need them more than once a month. You need to rely on them to make your decisions. Building a power team. If you don't have your power team set up, you need to be able to call someone anytime, anywhere who can solve your problem, and you need to do it quickly. Money loves speed. Remember that. Building a customer journey. If you don't have a clearly defined customer journey, then you're probably not going to be successful at effectively retaining your customers over time. So these are just some of the modules we're going to pull from, but we're going to work to customize what we do that day based on the people that come together. Okay? So it's going to be a full day in person at Marla. Lunch is going to be provided. Normally, we do this group business intensive for $699, but we're going to provide it for this room today for $399 plus tax. And we're doing that because I want you to win. I want to be able to help you in your business. I want to give you the information and the shortcuts that I didn't know, the things I didn't realize or understand. So, where's Judy? Judy's over here on my right. If you're interested in the group business intensive, Judy's going to help you out with going through some paperwork and stuff. I'm going to invite you right now to go ahead and see her on the right. We're going to take a few minutes if you need to use the bathroom, back right, as Judy had mentioned earlier. If anybody has any questions about anything or about any of the modules that we might be discussing that day, we're really going to work to customize this so we can put you in a position to accommodate your business and where your business is at and what it needs. So let's take a couple minutes. Feel free to network. Throw your hand in the air if you have any questions. I will be more than happy to help you. It's Ask Me Anything. Nothing's off the table. Please use this time to your benefit. Go see Judy if you're interested in the group business intensive. Thank you very much, everybody.
We're going to talk about video. We'll do an old school poll here actually first. Who is actually doing video in their business right now? Put your hands up.
Yes, Christina's doing my video.
Okay, perfect. We got a few people doing video. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a story here. Video really changed my life in a lot of ways. Anybody been in a career where you're absolutely miserable? Yeah? Once upon a time, we were probably all in some sort of career or job that maybe we decided we're not happy. We want to find something else to do. I found that was for me. I was very miserable in 2018. I absolutely hated what I did, but I was really good at what I did as well. And I would go to all these events and I would go to these conferences and I would say, I could be that guy. I want to be on the stage. Looks like the mic stopped, so I'm just going to yell.
I think either move that over here.
Here, I'll go over this side. So I would be so miserable and I would see these people go on stage and say, I want to be that guy. But how do I be that guy? How do I be the person who gets paid to speak at events? How can I be that person who can help other business owners, especially when I'm working for somebody else? And so over time, I started to realize I need to ultimately, shift how I'm going to present myself. I need to create a personal brand, but I didn't know how to do that. I had no idea how to create a personal brand. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to build a website and the customers will just flow in. I'm going to put a website up and I'm just going to sit and wait. They're all going to come. And what happened? I can see some people already know. Nothing. No customers came because all I did was create a website and I thought that's how you find business. So I thought, okay, what I'll do? I'm going to do some social posts. I see everybody doing the same thing at this time. They're posting motivational quotes. Motivational quotes will be what gives me business. Anybody guilty of this? They just put out motivational quotes sometimes? I got some people who are a little nervous to put their hands up on that, I can tell. Because I know some of you, as I've gone through your content, that's what you did. And it was a struggle. And I thought, well, that's not getting me any business. I know how to talk, so why don't I create some videos? So I started pumping out some videos myself. And they flopped, which was fine. But overall, I started to realize I need to do more and more content. But it was annoying to do content. And it wasn't natural for me. And I would start to read everything. I would have a script. And I'd read every single line. It had to be perfect. And it would spend hours and hours and hours trying to pump out this content. And I was nervous to put it out because I was working for somebody else. And I realized I have to go all in on this. And as I started to do that, it started to work. And then people started saying, hey, would you write some blog articles for me? Those blog articles turned into doing webinars. Those webinars turned into being able to speak. The first speaking opportunity I had was 3,000 people in Chicago. And I'm like, whoa, there's something on this content piece here. I can create videos, and that can get people to hear my message and want to expand on that for an hour. And then I started booking more gigs, and I started speaking at events, both virtually and in person. And then COVID happened, of course, and everything gets canceled. And then the opportunity comes up where I see a role that's available and they say they want a video instead of a resume. I thought, oh, I can do that. I can put that together. Next thing you know, that turns into an opportunity. That opportunity, then I end up, working with that company. And then I meet Dale and Marla. The only reason I'm in Windsor today is because of doing that video and getting that opportunity. But of course, I was miserable still too. And Raquel and I were walking along the riverfront, and she says, Chris, you are miserable working for somebody else, but you would love to work for yourself, and you love to work with business owners. And you love content, and why don't you just go all in and bet on yourself? And so that's what I did. And, made some mistakes along the way, but I, tried different things. And today it's about how can I share what I learned through video, what I've learned with customers that we've worked with throughout our region, and why video is really where it's at. So we're going to go in through this exercise here today with, talking about video. In your pamphlet, you will see some notes. There's some handouts, some activities that we're going to do along the way as well. And then this afternoon, just as a heads up, we're going to talk about AI and how you can leverage AI as part of your business strategy too.
Yes, please.
So here's the thing. All businesses face a number of different challenges, right? We're trying to find more business. Who wants more business and leads? Everybody should have their hand up. If you don't have your hand up, feel free to leave. If you're looking for top talent, who wants better employees or more employees? Right? Video is a way that can help you with that too. Here's the thing, in many of your industries, how do you actually stand out? That's also a thing that people are struggling with, and video is a way to do that, and we'll talk through that too. Maybe you have this traditional way of trying to find business. Most people here, small business owners, are relying on referrals, right? Who's getting a lot of business from referrals? Who's getting business from luck? That also is a factor. That just happens. Sometimes just people I just randomly start to work with you. You don't know how, they just do. There's multiple ways to get customers. We're going to talk through different methods. The other thing is, who has struggled with being consistent online, either in their business, doing videos themselves, trying to put any content out there? Your hand went up really fast, sir. What do you do?
Junk removal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And so it is hard to be consistent.
Very.
Why is it so hard?
Just the energy flowing through me. I'll be really, really good for a week, and then I won't do any social media posts for 2 months.
Anybody else feeling that same struggle where you start for a little bit, you start doing it on your own, and then you stop, right? And then you don't do it again for a while. That is a challenge that a lot of people face. When you look at how you can get customers, on the screen here I've put 8 different ways that you can do this. The first is you can do this, running an event. An event is a great way to actually generate new business. It's a great way to educate and to share who you are and what you do. There's SEO. Colin over here with the hat. This is a guy who knows a little bit about SEO. Talk about it real quick. I'm going to put you on the spot. Just so you know, I do this a lot. I put people on the spot when I do these presentations. What is SEO?
The easiest way to describe it is if you got a store, you're opening up a storefront, if you put it in some back alley that nobody walks by, nobody's ever going to walk in your front door. SEO is pretty much the digital equivalent of putting your storefront on the busiest street with the biggest sign in front. It's there, it's always there. You don't have to go there and do things to it every day. You don't have to do posting. Your storefront's on the best street. It's the best looking store, so people are going to go in that store organically rather than you having to reach out all the time and constantly pay for clicks and actively market. I think that.
So we're talking about websites here, people, right? And how you have to build your website the right way and continually work at it the right way to make sure that it's going to be found by search engines and they're found by other traffic. Like I said, I created my first business in 2018 and I thought, I'm just going to build this thing and everyone's going to come. But I didn't do any SEO work at all. Therefore, I got no traffic really at all. I did nothing to pump to actually get it there. So the other piece is paid ads. Anybody here running paid ads in any sort? A handful. People running kind of paid ads. Whether you're boosting posts, you're actually paying for ads, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google. Content creation, obviously, is self-explanatory, but I kind of classify it as more organic, right? So by organic, I mean we're actually, you're creating content, you're putting it across social media. Raise a hands and keep your hands up here for this one. Who's on Facebook for their business right now? Okay, keep your hands up. Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. Okay, so we got only a few people who are across all these different channels. Of course, there's other ones we can get into as well. I'm guessing there's not as many here, but I'll say it. Threads. Very little, exactly. Okay, so there are multiple ways and channels that you can be on for social media. Referrals, we've already talked about that. Anybody know what affiliates, what that means? Right? So affiliates, people who are big fans of your product or service, who then actually go out and they'll sell for you. And you give them a cut of the action. Direct messaging. Anybody here direct DMing people? Michael, you're doing that. So how do you do that?
It's exactly like it sounds. You just message them directly.
Exactly. It is not that difficult, but there's some effective ways that you can use video, and I will talk about that in order to be able to DM people. And then there's obviously luck. Thing is, you want to find a way to stand out and ultimately be remembered, and the key and the theme here really is self-evident. We're going to be talking about video. There's all these different channels that you can use. You can use video to actually amplify them and just make sure that your business stands out. When we talk about video being a game changer, there's a couple stats that might be harder to see on the screen, but viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video versus 10% reading it in a text. Video is so much more powerful than any other medium. 85% of consumers want to see more video from different brands. That's from HubSpot. And video marketers achieve a 66% higher qualified lead generation per year. There's nothing worse sometimes when you hop onto a consultation call or you're talking with somebody and they're not qualified, but video is a way to actually qualify people beforehand, making your life easier so you're not wasting time. So we talk about events. There's a few ways, and we kind of did some of this as part of this campaign for this event here today, that you could use video. When you're having events, do teasers to kind of talk about, get people excited to kind of come to, for the attendance. You could live stream it. We're not live streaming, but we theoretically could have been live streaming this to a virtual audience here today. You can also then do post-event recaps. The reason that we're recording content is that we can share a recap from this. We can actually take this over 6 hours, and we are probably going to have, I would say, at least 30 to 50 clips of content from this event alone. Video is a great way to actually get you more content, especially when you start to leverage it with your events. From an SEO perspective, Colin, keep me honest on this one here, is that at the end of the day, videos are going to rank higher when they actually start to leverage video content because you're actually going to have people on your page longer as well, which is very important as you're starting to produce your website and continue to push out content. Great, I'm glad that was true. I wasn't bullshitting anybody here. When it comes to paid ads, it's also going to stand out a lot better than you're going to have your traditional just static image posts that you're going to do. And it's also going to convert better leads for you too, because stories are what ultimately sell. Now, when you talk about your affiliates, if you can provide your affiliates with video content for instructions to help with promotion, that's going to make their lives easier. Therefore, you're going to be able to sell more of your products and or services. Plus, training videos. Who's doing training videos in their business? Couple people, right? Training videos are a great way to do it. Instead of I don't know about you, I don't really like to read much anymore. I will listen and I will watch. So a lot of people are the same. They will rather watch training with some guides. Think about this. Anybody here a teacher or ever been a teacher at some point? Right? Teachers all know this, is that there's different learning styles. So when you are training people in your business, you have to ultimately find different ways to actually get that message across, and video is a great way to do that. It's the same thing then works with affiliates. Referrals. Anybody do video testimonials in their business? Okay, a lot of the same people putting their hands up, which is great, and some of them I work with, so maybe there's a reason that they're doing that. Video testimonials are a great way to ultimately sell more in your business. Let your customers sell for you. Leanne, you're shaking your head. You agree?
Well, I agree. It's getting over that hurdle of my block is, do they want to be on video? So I don't even ask them. So I need to start doing that.
Consistently asking your customers for two things, and it's not in this presentation, but a Google review every single time you should be asking, and ask for a video. Google reviews are massive, so you want to make sure you're trying to ask for that. Plus, the authentic stories are going to resonate better. So it doesn't feel like it's just you selling. Make sure you're putting your customers, on video. So one of the things that we do when we do our video batch sessions, we actually have a wrestling belt that we have, and it's all-in content branded belt. And so when we work with clients, we'll actually bring this out and say, hey, what was it like working together today? I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. I ask you two simple questions. What was it like? And would you work with us again or recommend? And we put that on video for every single session. When it comes to outreach, you talked about, Michael, just DMing people and talking to them. Video messaging is one of the best ways you can do it. Now, you could just go through Facebook Messenger and you could record a video and send it to somebody cold. The other way is you could use certain services. So I found so much more success when I'm messaging people using video. Spark.io is one where I can actually, SendSpark it's called actually. It is a tool where you can just send like a video. The first 40 videos are free essentially, and I can send a video and I can be on someone's page and I can overlay it and say, hey, I see here that you've got some social content. Maybe you're looking for a little bit of help. My name is Hanna. I work at All In Content. This is what we do. If you're interested, feel free to book this link, and it'll actually just take them right to book a consultation with me. Using video has been way more effective than just any sort of cold DM, just text only. Video, I can also get analytics to see who opened it up. How often do they watch it? I've had some people where I'm like, oh, they've opened this up like 8 or 10 times, or they've shared it with other people. To have the analytics on that is massive for my business. And then also it's a higher response rate, of course, than you're ever going to get. Now, if you want to look at your social media, if you're just doing, again, the static image posts, what happens is a lot of people just scroll past them, right? Everyone's just scrolling. You have to find ways to kind of stand out, and we're going to talk through that. But they're going to be also shared more on social media. Who's gone live on video before? Good, we've got a number of people who've gone live. Right? The benefit of going live also is that it gives you this connection with your audience, and you're able to interact with them too, and there's a lot of power in that. Plus the algorithm seems to really push that too, by able to go live. So that's massive. And then when it comes to luck, you just have a better chance of being seen. So the more consistent you are out there, the more that you are just putting yourself out there in terms of content, the better chances you are of just getting more business. People come up to Jordan all the time at the back and be like, oh, I saw your videos. And he's like, sometimes you don't even know who the hell these people are, but they know you, which is really powerful, and that's really cool. And then there's also trends that happen too. If you like jump on some trends, maybe there's a chance that a video can pop for you, and then it can really take you to that next level. So at the end of the day, I want people to remember this, is that integrating video into your business is not an option anymore. It's an absolute necessity to stay competitive in today's world. But a lot of businesses, they struggle with it. They don't do video for whatever reason. And so what I want to do here is on your pamphlet that you have here, I want you just to kind of list 3 benefits real quick of why you think that your team and your business should start using more video marketing, what you could do differently. We'll take a couple minutes, and I'm going to actually then pull some people just to share some of your ideas of how you can leverage video marketing. So this is on the first page here. And for those who are worried that video is complicated, don't worry, we're going to get to a section here and talk about how we make it so much easier for you. All right, I'm going to come to the mortgage team over here. We got a bunch of guys in the mortgage space. Talk about video. Paul, tell me, how can your business benefit from doing more video marketing?
So the first one I have is recruiting clients, employees / business owners. So basically recruiting clients, meaning I'm not just trying to get somebody a mortgage, I'm trying to actually work with someone long term. That's our goal. And the same thing, recruiting employees, business owners, is Faith is a mortgage agent on my team, but she's a business owner, so I'm trying to attract and recruit business owners, not employees. Second one was educating services and like sharing how we can educate on services and products that we offer. And the third one is sharing clients and employees / business owners reviews. So their experience and just, they feel good getting them on camera and talking about why is it good to be on my team, or why is it good to work with my team.
Let's give him a round of applause. That was really good. That was awesome.
I've got one for Paul.
You got one?
Yeah, mortgages are scary. A lot of people are afraid of going and tackling these financial discussions and conversations. I met somebody the other day and I said, trust me, and she's nervous. She's got a lot of people coming at her with a lot of information. And the first person I thought of was Paul, because he's soft and he knows his business and he makes you feel comfortable and he's approachable. That does not come across in text. That's what your personality, and that's why I knew, and we already got the feedback how much she liked her conversation with you. So that's another one.
Thank you, Judy. That's a great point, right? Video is just, it gives you the ability to kind of be a bit more human and to personalize it, and it's going to help you stand out. Leanne, how about you?
I think that the number one thing is that our clients trust us more. Because then I had one client that came to us because we were doing video, and she says, I was looking at everybody's website, I saw your video, and then I knew that I could trust you coming into my home. And that wouldn't have been, like she was saying, it won't be in text. People don't get it because they have a false sense of what the industry's like, and that was the big thing for me.
That's massive. Let's give her a round of applause. I agree with that so much. Like, I've gone to a lot of networking events around the city, and all people come up and say, I already know everything about you, Chris. I know your core values. I know what you stand for. I already know I want to work with you because of the videos that are going out, because it's so consistent. That's where you want to talk about yourself, your business. What do you stand for? What do you do? Because that's going to help people want to connect with you more. So a lot of people, though, say they want to do video consistently, but they struggle, and there's a bunch of reasons why. A lot of people think it takes too long. Some people say they think it costs too much. They don't have the budget for it. Some people just think it's really, really complex to do video overall. And then some people are just not comfortable. Faith, we were talking a little bit about how you put some videos into a software called video.ai. It's basically a tool where you can put long form videos in and it chops into multiple clips. But you said now you have to go through and you have to kind of edit and you have to adjust all those. It takes time. It takes a long time. So here's the thing. What makes videos so much easier is what we do called batch creation. So basically, we spend a compressed amount of time, and then we will come up with as many videos as we possibly can. Typically, what we do is 4-hour sessions with people. We've done 8 hours. I've done multi-day sessions. We'll do as little as 2 hours to create content, to make life easier for you. Basically, you come up with ideas, and we're going to teach you some ways this afternoon to leverage AI to be able to come up with a ton of ideas. And then you record your video content in a dedicated session of some sort. After that, then you get about a month or more's worth of content to make sure that you're ahead of the game. And then you post or schedule your content across your social media. Instead of doing just one at a time and then posting it, and another one at a time posting it, you're actually able to get ahead and bulk create. Now, I love the idea of batch creating content, that I do it not just for videos, I do it for blog posts, I do it for podcast episodes, I will do it for any static image posts if I'm going to do any of that content as well. I think just getting ahead is such a game changer. This idea came to me when I first launched my podcast in 2019. I would do an episode, I would post it on a Sunday, and then I would record it next week, and then I'd post again, and then I'm like, oh, I'm busy. I don't have time to post this. I got to create a whole bunch of content in advance. And so what I would do is I would say to Raquel, you need to leave the house, because I could not record at one point with her in the house, go shopping for an afternoon, and I'm going to come up with as many podcast episodes as I could. I came up with 26 episodes in one day. These were solo podcast episodes, me just sharing at that time leadership, because I was doing more leadership coaching. And I was like, wow, that's 6 months worth of content. I'll just keep doing that. And so I eventually, was able to create so much content in advance and then eventually chop up and repurpose that content, giving me so much time back. But that's the power of batch creation, is you get ahead. At the end of the day, as business owners, we're all very busy. So to be able to get ahead and gain time back can be massive. So this is harder to see based on the size of the screen, but basically how we batch record content is that we will do a lot of research on your business. I am not, let's use Jordan as an example in the back, I am not a real estate agent, but I come up with a ton of prompts and questions for Jordan, asking him about real estate. Now I know a lot now after a year of working together, but I'm able to come up with questions. Same thing with Judy and everything in the property management world. I'm not in the property management world, but I know enough to ask her questions. So I coach you throughout the session so you feel comfortable. Jill's shaking her head over here. You were nervous as all hell to get on video. But we just make it conversational. That's the goal with videos. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Chad also doesn't have to be super complicated. You know that. You've been doing it now. You're a pro. One take guy. So we go through, we interview you, and that's the same thing you can do as you're trying to create content yourself. Think of it as an interview with the camera. Then what we do is we will edit. We will then, caption, because captions are important, and you'll see that, later on when I talk about it. And then we will thumbnail your videos. The thumbnail is the first, image that someone's going to see on your video content. And then we basically make sure that you're set up for months of consistent content, which is critical across the board. And then obviously we're having fun too. I'm not in this business to just, be stiff and boring. It's all about having fun and joking around, having a good time, because you want to make it as lighthearted as possible. And then again, we make it easy for businesses too, because we will actually schedule that content on their behalf. So they literally just show up for 4 hours and they never have to post any of that content themselves. I'm going to pivot here to talking about the 5 most important parts of a video that you need to make sure happen when you're creating your own content. The first is the hook. Now, the hook is the first thing that you basically do that's going to convey curiosity. It's going to have some emotion associated with it. Because the first 3 seconds matters when you're producing any sort of content. Now, I said to Michael over here when he first started, some of his videos that he does, he's also implemented a visual hook. If you watch any of Michael's videos, he will have his camera, and what do you do, Michael?
I started down here and then I flip it up here.
He's moving the camera around, and that's creating a visual hook. And we're like, what is this guy doing? Right? You want to hook them in those first few seconds. There's things that you don't want to do. You never want to start a video with, hi, my name is Chris Hanna. I work at All In Content. This is what I do. When you do that, you've instantly lost somebody. So don't start with introducing yourself. Because here's the thing. If they land on your profile, they already see who you are. You're wasting valuable time and seconds by doing that. So don't talk about introducing yourself when you start doing video content. Don't start with, hey guys, today we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z either. That's also not going to hook them in. That's going to get them to scroll past you. Lastly, I'm here to talk today about, what do you got here? You are waterproofing. We're going to talk about waterproofing today and all the reasons why you need to work with our company. No, start with something that's going to actually hook them in. Something educational, maybe something entertaining, something informative. But don't just explain what you're going to try and do. This is not an essay. We're not in grade 5 anymore. Remember though, less is more, and this is really hard for a lot of people when you first start, is that the video actually needs to be less than 60 seconds. A lot of people will start, creating content, and they will go on and on and on. The problem is, we have short attention spans. Nobody actually is going to sit and watch something that's super long if they've never come across your content before. So what I always recommend to people who are just starting out, aim for 30 seconds or less. Now I see some eyeballs open up here, we're like 30 seconds is not a long time. But actually, if you use it effectively, it can be massive for you. 30 seconds is all you need to share, again, a little bit who you are and what you do and why you do it. Now, you can go on some platforms 90 seconds. You can go on other platforms and go longer too. But when you're first starting out, be short and concise. People know the words TLDR, that term. Too long, don't read. Same thing really applies to video. The other thing I say here is you can use the podcast trick, and Faith we were talking about this at the start of the event. It's kind of almost what you're doing too. Is like record some long form content and then chop that up. The key is that you speak in sound bites. Sound bites is like you have some sort of key line that you want to say. Say that as your main point that you want to kind of illustrate. Find some sort of way and breathe a little bit in between as you're talking, so you can actually make it easier to cut. A lot of people forget to breathe when they're actually on camera. They just keep going and going and going, and then they're like, where do I cut this video? Do yourself a favor, breathe. Also, don't forget about the importance of light and sound. So there's a reason I'm wearing a mic today. So it's better quality audio that's going to come through. You ever try and watch a video where the audio sucks? There's actually a good chance you're probably not watching that video. You're going to actually scroll past. Same thing when it comes to light. right? The first videos that I did not have a mic. And I should probably go back and watch them. I'll probably cringe a lot. I did not have a mic on, and nor did I have any lights. I actually saw like, oh, it's so dark. I made the video black and white because I was so concerned about the lighting quality, not realizing I probably just had a light on. I had no idea what I was doing. But the videos were just terrible because of that. Well, audio and lighting makes a world of difference. Where possible, be outside. Natural light is best overall. So I love it, throughout the summer, being able to work with clients along the riverfront. Jordan, we were hitting up almost every golf course in one single day around the area. Like, I don't know how many we hit, but it's like to be able to be outside can make a world of difference for you. Captions. Do not put a video out without captions. 85% of people do not have their sound on when they're watching. I guarantee you there's some people who are scrolling through social media during this event here who are probably watching some content. I hope you're not, but I guarantee you there are people who are. And so to be able to get a message across, always have captions on. If I see a video that doesn't have captions, I actually scroll past it. And a lot of people will too. Now, at the end of the day, though, it's also beneficial because you can make them more exciting. So you can add emojis, you can add some animations, some cool colors. I add a lot of GIFs for a lot of stuff that I will do, just to kind of keep it entertaining, to keep it going. Because the reality is that we don't have a high attention span in today's world. So you need to kind of keep some stimulus kind of happening there for people. Thumbnails also matter quite a bit. This is the first image you're going to see when it comes to a video. This is going to be something that's going to stand out. So this example I have here, it's harder probably to see at the back of the room, but it says, how does the TikTok algorithm work? So with this thumbnail is great in the sense that I know exactly what this video is before I even click it. It's got some nice contrasting colors with the yellow that stands out with the black, and it's got a picture of a person. Ideally, these are some of the core components you want to have with your thumbnail. Because stock images, they're not going to get clicked as much. The yellow is going to stand out as well. And just being able to have that title to explain what it is going to hook somebody in. Again, it's the hook, the first image you're going to see. It's the hook, the first thing you're going to say or do on the video that's going to ultimately make sure it's going to help you. So when it comes to creating videos, you want to kind of follow this checklist, right? So start with an engaging hook. Make sure that you're clear and concise. Be less than 60 seconds overall. You want to make sure that you have actionable next steps. So basically that call to action. What do you want somebody to do at the end of your video? Do you want them to go to your website to book a consultation? Do you want them to comment some sort of word to maybe engage in an automation that you might have in place? Do you want them to buy your product or service? Do you want them to come to an event? You need to guide people when you're creating any sort of content in order to tell them what to do. That's important. Again, use captions and make sure that you've got that strong hook to ultimately help them. Now, a lot of people say to me, I've never been on video before, or I'm not comfortable on camera. So here's a couple tips that I think are going to help you. If you're trying to get on camera, you want to be more confident. First, practice good posture. I always try and advise people, if you can, stand up if you're trying to create content. Because if you're sitting down, you might be slouched over, you might not have as much energy. So standing is best, but you got to obviously do what works best for you. Speak clearly and slowly, but not so slowly that it's robotic, that people are going to tune out and be bored and want to fall asleep as well. Main eye contact with the camera. Now, I mean, like, kind of glance over subtly. Don't come up to the camera and just stare at it so intensely and so closely. I hope Raquel has zoomed out somewhat on this because it's probably going to be a terrifying image when we go back to edit it. But like, maintain some natural looking at the camera. Like, float your head over, talk to the audience, but blink every once in a while, I guess. It's amazing how many people just stop, again, breathing and blinking. There's something that just happens when the camera sometimes just turned on. Smile and show enthusiasm. Are we not excited to talk about our business? To help more people? So don't be scared of video. Actually, enjoy the fact that you're getting to be able to share. Because sales is service at the end of the day. Use natural hand gestures. I'm obviously somebody who talks with my hands a little bit, so I have to be careful so I don't knock something over. But a lot of people, it's amazing actually, a lot of sessions we did last week with people, they were like, what do I do with my hands? And so I'll put the mic down for a second here. Some people just like this on the video. And it's like, okay, that's probably not the most natural way for you. Like, what do you want to do? They're like, what do I do this? I don't care what you do, just be normal, right? But standing around, being robotic, It's just be your natural self. That's critical and that's important. But people, again, they overthink it. Do what feels right for you at the end of the day. And the last part here is like to talk about what you know. What can you talk about without the idea of a prompt, without the idea of a script? That's the stuff that you should probably prioritize and talk about first. It doesn't have to be rehearsed. Make it natural. That's going to ultimately make your life easier and make your content resonate better. So in the handout here, if we go to that, I want to talk about the ideas on page 2, the power of batch recording. When you think about your business, what are some different ideas that you could maybe do in your business to, create some content? Does anybody have ideas like off the top of their head that they're thinking like, in my business, I probably should create some content in X, Y, and Z area? Anybody have an idea? Paul, you got an idea?
Just about our people, about our processes, about our services. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got those big buckets, right? And then from there, basically, you'll be able to create other subtopics associated with it, right? Then you'll be able to break down. People and processes are great. Behind the scenes is another great way that you can also do some content as well. If we think about in the cabinet studio, what goes into actually, creating an entire kitchen for somebody? Oh, the ordering process. How do you pick supplies? That's content that you potentially could create. So when you get a chance, be able to brainstorm some topics that you have. This afternoon we're going to go in more depth in how you can use AI to help you with that too. But what often stops people from creating content is they think that they have no time. They've got no budget. They lack the expertise. They've tried and failed before. Maybe they tried putting content out there and it just hasn't resonated. Some people put one video out and they're like, oh, it never worked for me. Maybe you don't have internal resources to do it, or you overthink the entire process. At the end of the day, I always say that what we do at All In Content is we try and make videos easy. It's as easy and as simple as possible. Again, all I need from you is maybe 2, 4, or 8 hours to make sure that you're set up for months of consistent content. We really focus on helping businesses throughout the Windsor-Essex region who know they need to be on social media, but struggle with consistency. I have so many businesses who they know they want to have content, they don't know how to do it. They want to take action, they want to go all in, but it is a struggle. At the end of the day, your digital presence is what's going to help take you to the next level, but it can be hard. You want more leads. You want to find the right talent. You want to grow your personal brand. At the end of the day, even though you're all businesses, your personal brand is actually what's going to pull people in, because people buy from people. So, this is an image here of community votes this past year. We were lucky enough to be nominated and also win in 4 categories across advertising, social media, digital marketing, and videography across All In Content. We've only been in business for a year, which is really amazing too. So really proud and happy of that. I'm not doing that as a brag moment. I'm just saying that we have some success that we know what we're doing here to be able to help businesses throughout our region. We also have got a great partnership. If anybody here part of the Chamber of Commerce as a member? We've got a few different businesses. We are an affinity partner at All In Content with the Chamber of Commerce, which means we've got exclusive packages and services and prices around some of the services that we offer to make sure that Chamber members can have, content flowing and going for them and making it easy for them at the end of the day. Because we want people to be able to show up. When you show up consistently, that's when you're ultimately going to win. So again, the way we work is we do basically an express session. So think of that as 2 hours. You get 1 month worth of content. So let's call that, say, 10 to 15 videos that you might be able to do if you're releasing content every other day. The most popular session we have is a half-day session, and that gives you 3 months worth of content. You're finding anywhere between 25 to 40. I just did a session with a financial company about a couple weeks ago, did 89 videos in 4 hours. So then you're set up for months of content. All that content, of course, is recorded, and edited, and captioned. And then we also will schedule that content for clients as well. And then we've got some people who want to do the longer content. Before Marla ended up having the twins, she's like, we need to record as much content as possible for myself before these babies come out. And what did we do? We went around the area and we recorded a year's worth of content over the span of a couple of days. Just so, again, you have consistency, stuff flowing and going for you. The other option that we do, and I should say for all those ones that we just did, those are ones where you're basically posting yourself. The other option is basically the done-for-you plan, where we make it easy. We just show up, We record that content, we take it all away, and we schedule it for you so you don't have to do any heavy lifting yourself. Because the challenge that we have when we give you the content yourself is that people are like, now what do I do? Right? How do I take this content and post it myself? Chantel, I know for some videos we've had, you're like, I haven't had a chance to, post this content. And so then you fall behind by a couple of weeks and then you get going. So then the people who don't have that issue are when it's flowing and going and scheduled for you. So we put it out. The benefit of that, we're also doing blog posts for your website. We're also responding to your Google reviews for you. Think of us as an outsourced marketing team for you. So we're doing all the heavy lifting so you don't have to worry about it. If you're on a roof, you can worry about taking care of the customers on the roof. You don't have to sit there and worry about your social media because it's all flowing and going for you. So this is harder to see, but again, we've got a couple different clients that, obviously that we've got some testimonials from that have worked with us. You want to check out our Google reviews. We're really proud of the fact, 5 stars over the last year since we've started, which is great. Again, making life easy across multiple industries. The biggest challenge I have, and Raquel can keep me honest on this one, is that everyone that we seem to work with, we end up being customers of theirs as well because we see their videos nonstop and they just sell us. So it's incredible the amount of just the knowledge that we get, but to be able to help these businesses across multiple industries is just phenomenal in the region. And there's so many great businesses have a story to share. So Judy had said this, and I didn't know if she actually knew that I had put this in the presentation, but I had this line already in here, that if you want to be successful, the question isn't how, it's always who. And so this is where, again, it's a bit challenging to see probably on the size of the screen, but if you're going to try and do it yourself, this is based on customers that we've worked with, data that we've found, is that if you're trying to do it yourself, you're typically, for the same amount of videos that we're producing, it's going to take you 60 hours to create the content yourself. Because you're going to have to come with the ideas, you're going to have to edit them, record them, caption them, thumbnail them, put them out on social media. It's going to take you much longer, which means you're probably not going to do it. Or you're going to struggle to do it. Which means it's going to cost you. Also for equipment. You're not paying any equipment charges. My camera, my software, everything associated with it, you don't have to worry about any of that. Obviously, when you're starting to do it yourself, you're just starting out, well, maybe you're going to struggle. If I use my phone as an example, anybody been guilty of this where you create a video and you're this, but like half of your head showing on the video? I know because I've seen some videos here from some folks as well where we struggle with that. You're able to have higher quality videos, obviously, with working with us as well. You don't have to learn how to film and edit. The editing process takes a long time. So to be able to cut down that's massive for you. It takes longer to ultimately just have that learning curve to actually pick things up. And then you don't have to be having the opportunity cost lost where you're like, I'm going to focus on creating content for my business and then not do the stuff that actually about running my business. By actually working with us, we're actually taking care of that for you. So for today's event, I do want to share that we are offering an exclusive package that's only available for the next 5 days. And only doing this with 7 businesses across the area as well. We're basically offering our 4-month package with some additional bonuses. So basically we're going to do a 4-hour session with you, minimum of 20 to 30 videos. What's that going to give you? Well, that's going to make sure that in 2 weeks or less, you're going to get your content that you can post yourself on your social media. With some additional bonuses, you're going to get a coaching call with me talking about your marketing strategy and your session, ultimately how you can grow your business. I'm also going to do professional headshots with you, complimentary included as part of that as well. So if you're trying to build out a website or any sort of campaign, or you just want some really good pictures of yourself, we'll be doing that too. We're also going to give you, to make it super easy, for every video that we finalize, we're also going to write a post for you and include that with it. So you can actually just take it if you want and copy and paste and put it into your social media. So you don't have to worry about that. That's almost as done for you as you possibly can imagine. Then I'm also going to give you an additional 2 hours on top of the 4 hours. So for that, I actually charge $900 for that. So that's going to be included. You're going to get 6 hours of this as a bonus. And because I'm insane, I'm also going to give it tax inclusive. So the government's, not going to get as much of a cut. I'm all doing it all in. So for the value of everything we add up, it'll be $3,700. We're doing it for our $1,800 price point, but that's going to set you up. So it is as done for you as possible for months of consistent content as possible. You don't have to worry about video content anytime for at least a quarter or more. The reality is you push it, you can really go. So if you are interested in that, you want to learn more, you want to probably book within these next 5 days, come connect with me now. We can then figure, obviously, out a time to schedule that for you. Question?
I just want to say, it's not a question. How, that's just proof of how important video is, because sorry. So I just want to say that that is proof of how important video is, because when you said that you've only been in business for a year, I was shocked, because I thought that you've been doing this forever. I feel like I know you, well, I do know you now, but only through video and then seeing you in a thing. So that is, I just can't believe you've only been doing this for a year.
So yeah, the company's only been around for a year. I've been doing it unofficially for 6 years as like a side hustle, right? But as my name though has been out there. It's crazy because of the consistency.
Yeah.
Right? The consistency, you can't even put a price tag on how valuable that is.
Right.
And to be able to I talked about video changed my life. It's because I went to actually a chamber event this February. You were there and you spoke, and be able to speak for 90 seconds. But I brought my camera and I recorded it. As a result of that, and then showing up consistently, then more people started to want to work with us. I got a client who is a gym, Ambassador Fitness and Performance. We signed up with them as clients, and now Raquel's lost like 25 pounds, I've lost like 20 pounds, so it's changed my life because of video as well. It's made us healthier as a result. We've been able to get more connections as well with people. And so yeah, been around for a year of doing it, but been doing it obviously in so many different ways more. And so it's so powerful. Video has ultimately changed everything for us. So at the end of the day, if you are interested, you can book a virtual consultation. There's more information we're going to go through this afternoon on the AI front, which is going to be really, really cool. But I want to open it up. Chris Coffin, how are we doing for time?
13:30 left.
13:30 left. So I'm happy to do a bit of a Q&A if anybody wants to talk about video, social media in any sort of way as well, because we've got lots of time left to connect, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on anything that we're doing. So if you are interested, obviously we can talk through on the half-day session. Any questions on video content, social media? Happy to do a free forum and fire anything at me. You, sir.
We're trying to highlight a lot of the projects construction-wise. Drone footage is one that we're big into. Do you have that capability?
So right now, I actually subcontract the drone work out. So I work with somebody on that, so we can do drone. I haven't gotten into it personally myself, but I have a great partner that I work with on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the drone footage is awesome. We just did a video shoot in Colchester for a condo development company down there on that. And so be able to have the drone footage mixed in with some on-ground footage and some interview styles as part of it was massive. So that was really cool for that commercial that'll come out probably in a couple months. So yeah, it's not just about social media, I should say. It's like other types of videos that we also are tackling. There was another hand that kind of went up. Oh,
Hi. We spoke about this at the other session. I wanted you to expand a little bit more about content pillars.
That's this afternoon.
Yeah? Okay.
This afternoon is all content pillars.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Okay, no worries. We'll talk then.
Okay.
Because I would love to learn more about how do you determine what are you going to talk about? What is your content going to look like? Yeah.
Make sure you stick around for after lunch. That'll be definitely covered. Did I see another hand come up? Chantel?
So for those who don't know me, my name is Chantel, and I'm the Director of Operations at Huron Shores Property Management, and we use Chris at All In Content. And so, Chris has been great with guiding us to, ideas and things. But I have to say I have a superpower of changing my outfits and my hairstyles. And you won't know that we did about 60 videos in 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I had 14 outfits. So layered, different blazers, different skirts, different necklaces, even different hairstyles the last time. So you can get really creative and it's fun. Chris makes it really fun. And even if you're doing it on your own, you just gotta be yourself and have fun with it. And really just understand who you want to target and who you want to talk to. So bring out your inner personality and just shine, because that's how you be successful.
That's a great point, Chantel. Thank you. On the outfit front, so when I have a video session, I will give you instructions of kind of what to expect, and I will say, try and bring 4 to 5. Some people bring 10. Some people bring their entire closet. Jordan brings every single shirt and in shorts, t-shirt combo, and hat that he has. So you bring all these outfits because then you're switching every 5 to 10. So it doesn't look like you're just wearing the same clothes over and over and over again. It just makes life so much easier. And then you switch up locations. The benefit for businesses who have employees, also feature your employees in those videos. Like, it's great to hear from the business owner, and that's important, but to have your actual team featured and your customers featured is huge. You cannot understate how important that is as well. Okay? Any other questions or comments that people have regarding video content, or anybody struggling with video content? If you want help or support, again, we're doing some quick one-on-ones here today as well if you want to talk through what your video strategy will be. Jordan's looking for the mic, which is always dangerous. I don't know what he will say or where he goes. It is terrifying giving him control.
Oh, it's fine. No, one of the reasons why I wanted to grab the mic was because last year I posted no content like you mentioned earlier. Went from nothing to literally videos almost every day. But I have no creative control either. That was one of the biggest things that I had to understand was I basically told Chris, just do it, because if I have to review everything, I'm going to never see it perfect. One of the biggest mistakes is we're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. It makes you human in the videos. Lots of people will say, hey, I saw your video. I'm like, uh-oh, which one? Because the content goes out without me knowing. So it's really kind of cool. And it gets you where he makes it comfortable, makes it easy. But the best part is it's like I said, it's seamless. You're front facing. And again, there's 380 videos out now or something. We're approaching 400. And basically a year, it's been awesome. So.
Thank you. The thing I think that's really cool with Jordan too is that as you start doing more videos, then you start getting asked to speak on other people's podcasts and shows, and you start getting more connections as a result of that as well, which is really cool. And that gives you just another market to potentially open up to, right? A lot of the podcasts you've been on have been US based, and so then you start to be seen in different areas, like leverage other people's markets. Does anybody have their own podcast or show that they're doing? Right? You got a couple, right? It's so powerful to be able to bring other people on and then use that footage and that content to chop that up. If you have got questions on certain software or tools that I use, I'm an open book. I'm a big believer. I will give you everything that I know. I'm not going to gatekeep and kind of hold stuff behind the scenes. Like, I coach some of the people who are in this room as well, and so I will share every single piece of knowledge that I have. So when we talk about, if we go back a couple slides here, that virtual social media strategy session, when I do those with businesses, like I'm helping you come up with what your entire roadmap could be for 2025 in there, and I'll give you every single piece of information that you need to make sure from a digital side, not just a social side, but digitally, that you're getting all the information I have. Because I want to make sure that you win. When you win, I win at the end of the day, and I'm a gambler at heart, and so I would love to bet on businesses and help them win and be part of that journey.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody enjoyed their lunch. Just a couple of items to go over before we get back into it. First and foremost, Chris did an awesome job. I'm sure everybody was super interested in today's world of social media. I'm sure everybody was pretty interested in hearing what he had to say. He's going to be coming back later this afternoon for some more really interesting AI-related nuggets that I really encourage you to listen up to. Chris has been doing the content for the majority of our businesses for almost a couple years now. It is not my cup of tea. It's just not my end of the world. So he's done a wonderful, wonderful job for all of our businesses. If you've seen any of our social content, if you see me on videos, if you see Judy, it's not us. It is us, but we're not behind it. So definitely check out Chris's products. Definitely worth your while as a business owner and getting the word out there in today's era of social media. We also spoke this morning about the one-day business intensive that is going to be held. We are going to extend that offer till the end of the day Monday at today's pricing. And I've decided that I'm going to do a little bit of pre-work by meeting with each business owner in advance, just to make sure I can get a feel for your needs, because I really want to make sure that these days are catered to what you need in your business. So we're going to pull different modules. Some of them we had up on the screen. There are others as well. I spoke with two people over lunch that we talked about the use of the predictive index and how beneficial that can be for them in their business. That may be a module that we'll do. So I will meet with each business owner one-on-one to make sure I'm appropriately understanding the needs of your business, the size of your business, where you're at, and even making recommendations about what I think you might need next to help sort out what would be the best way to spend that day. So if you are interested in the group business intensive, please make sure you see Judy. She's on the far side over there. Don't hesitate. You can just head over at any time. We definitely want to make sure that we're helping as many business owners as we can. And now we're going to start with our road mapping. So you have a book in your booklet. You've got this little activity page. I think it's on the left, right under the advisory board sheet. So what I'd like to do is I want you to think, whether you're a business owner, maybe you're a solopreneur, maybe you're just thinking about starting a business, or maybe you work for someone and have a business on the side right now. I want you to get a number in your head. I want you to think of the amount of money, the most amount of money you've ever made in 1 month. That could be personally or your business, whatever your preference is for this activity. The most amount of money you've made in 1 month. I want you to get that number in your head. That's net profit, not revenue, okay? Everybody got a number? I want you to think of that number at 5 times. Now I want you to imagine what your life might look like and the things that might be different and the things that might be the same if you consistently monthly made 5 times the highest amount that you've ever made in a month, personally or in your business, however you want to look at it. Okay, everybody got their 5 times, their 5x number? Now I want you to pick 2 things that would be different in your life if you made 5 times what you make in the most month you've ever made on a consistent basis. 2 things that would be different. Maybe you live in a different house. Maybe you take vacations that you don't take now. Maybe you buy your time back and take more time off. Could be anything. 2 things. Maybe you buy a boat. I don't know. 2 things that would be different in your life if you made 5 times what you make now on a monthly basis. And I want you to write those 2 things at the top of your roadmap. And then I want you to think of 1 thing that would be the same. And I want you to write it at the top as number 3. Doesn't matter what order you put these in. Okay, we'll give everybody a brief minute there, and then we'll dive in a little deeper. It's so important, guys, to understand where we're going. And as entrepreneurs, and I talked about this a little bit this morning, it's so easy to confuse $20 an hour jobs with $500 an hour jobs, and not to make time to work on your business because you're so busy in your business. I've spent so many years in the grind, hustling day in and day out. I know how difficult it is to put yourself in a position where you can actually be working on your business, where you can lift yourself up and see your business above the forest, not just looking directly at the tree. And so when we're doing this road mapping activity today, it really is for the purpose of putting yourself in a position that you can ultimately understand what your path is to 5x. Personally, in your business, whichever way you want to do it. As entrepreneurs, so often what happens is we hit a wall and then we just turn the other way and go in a different direction until we hit a wall going that way. And then we turn the other way until we hit a wall. And before you know it, you're actually just spinning in circles. Guilty, for sure. Absolutely. And then I just go back to the grind because that's my comfort zone. Next thing, the next thing, the next thing, right? So, I want you to look at the pages following the roadmap. We've categorized if you're trying to or are starting a business. The next page is if you're a solopreneur and you're in a place where you own a business, you run a business, but it's just you. We've got 2 to 5 employees. And then we've got 5 to 15 and 15 to 30. And what I want you to do is I want you to really look through the things on those pages. There may be other things that you already know you need to do in your business that you haven't done, that aren't on this sheet that you can use on your roadmap. But when we look, for example, at 2 to 5 employees, I can't tell you how important it is and how common it is to not consider some of these things. So I'll just go through a few of the things I have on the 2 to 5, just for example. Create an affiliate or referral-based program, because let me tell you, affiliates will change your life. It's something I learned way too late in my business. That's something you can be doing at the size of 2 to 5 employees. That's something that you can be doing now to build the groundwork for your growth. Creating core values and starting to define company culture, because let's be honest, happy employees drive happy customers. That's just a reality. Cheers to that, right? Right? Happy employees drive happy customers. There's a lot of different ways to dig into employee retention, right? We talked about this morning, it's hard to find good people, harder to keep them. We've got building a strong core team and hiring selectively to get the right people in the right seats. That's huge. I was speaking over lunch to a couple different people about some of the tools you can use to make sure that you're hiring the right people. Let me tell you that at Marla and the remainder of our businesses, we use a product called the Predictive Index. This is a product that I swear by. We've been using it for 3 years, and we've not hired someone in the last 3 years without using this product. It's a 2-question, 3 to 5 minute survey, which essentially reveals dominant features about someone. And what we do is we build out the job on the front end. We determine what are the needs of this position. What does the seat actually look like? And then when you apply, you have to do the predictive index before we even talk to you. Because let me tell you right now, Lee, if I sit across from you for 30 minutes and interview you, I might get a feeling. That's probably the best I can ask for. What small business owner wants to make business-changing decisions on a feeling? How often do we do it, though? Every day. Every day. Guess what? Sometimes you'll be right, and sometimes you won't. But it starts with understanding what is the right seat. What does that even mean? What does the seat look like? What kind of dominant features do you need in the role you're hiring for? That might be something at 2 to 5 employees, or maybe even 5 to 15 employees, if you haven't done it, that you need to consider. Starting to track key metrics, guys. Good data in, good data out. Even if you can't put the data to work today, if you don't start tracking it effectively, you're never going to be able to put it to use. One of the things that we're very proud of at Marla is we have exceptional data. Good data in, good data out, though. And we've got some crap data, too, that does nothing for us, because in our early days, we didn't really understand the importance of the dynamic around good data. Considering recurring revenue streams. How many people here have a recurring revenue stream in their business right now today? Arlene, definitely put your hand up. Yes, you do. If you don't have recurring revenue, you need to find a way to get it. No matter what, because it will carry you when things are slow. You need to build a customer journey. If you haven't built a customer journey, then all of your client retention is on the foundation of luck. And luck will work sometimes, and it won't work other times. Considering outsourcing non-core functions like HR, IT, social media, Chris, reputation management. Outsourcing these things when you have 2 to 5 employees, you can't have every hat on. And I know we want to, and I know we do what we have to do. But the reality is when we put ourselves in those positions, guess what? That meant I was the head of HR, I was the bookkeeper, I was the property manager, I was the rent collector, I was all the things. And sure, you can make that work if you need to, if you want to, you can do it for a while. But the reality is no one's good at everything. Don't give me that. Let's let people be in their true zone of genius and perform at their highest and best value to us, including ourselves, and find the right people to do the things that aren't necessarily in our area of expertise. Prioritizing customer feedback. Guys, this is one of my favorite things. I always tell our client base and I train our team members, ask for the feedback. Feedback is my best opportunity for improvement. And you can bet your dollar that at the end of today, I'm going to be asking y'all for feedback about today. Because it's going to tell me what worked for you as a customer, as someone who came to an event, who paid for a ticket, who got some content, enjoyed some lunch, what worked and what didn't. I can tell you what worked for me today, but I want to know what worked for the 60 people here, right? We have to ask for feedback. And I'll tell you, for a long time, I was afraid to do that. I didn't want feedback because I was like, I already know the things I suck at. I don't need help, right? I'm good. I just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. But as soon as I started to ask for the feedback, it helped me structure things like my roadmap. It told me what was the next most important thing, as opposed to just another thing. We all have another thing. There's so many things. If you're deciding today what 5 things go on your roadmap, that means you have a lot of things to choose from as what your biggest priorities are. What's going to help you 5x your profit as soon as possible? And if you don't have that kind of feedback, you're not going to know. Focusing on developing a repeatable sales process. Sometimes we get into an industry and a market that needs us. Sometimes we benefit from things like referrals because maybe our competition isn't that huge or that strong or whatever. But you need a repeatable sales process, absolutely. And of course, like Tim talked about, you need to make sure your business is properly insured. If it's not, or you're not sure, give Tim a call. He will go through your policy with an unbiased opinion just to give you the facts about what's working for you and what you might be missing. Or things you don't need. He's told me in the past, you really don't need this. Great. I definitely don't want to pay for insurance I do not need, right? If you go to 5 to 15, and you guys can keep working through this as I'm talking. If you go to 5 to 15, I want you to look at all the items from 2 to 5 employees, and then the things I've added for 5 to 15. Because if you're a business with 5 to 15 employees, or you're encroaching on that soon, you need to consider things like health and dental benefits and other employee benefits. We're considering some really radical employee benefits at Marta right now. Really radical stuff. Because we know we have good people and we want to keep them. Knowing your numbers, ensuring accurate and frequent financials. You shouldn't make decisions without your finances. That feeling in the base of your stomach or the number on your bank account is just not enough information. It just isn't. And as small business owners, we've all done that for a long time. You look at the bank account, you're like, yeah, seems good. Yeah, I can do that. Right? But that is not a true reflection of your financial status in your business. Understanding your total addressable market. Who here knows what their TAM is? Who knows their total addressable market? Okay, you need to understand, what is your total addressable market? What is your total opportunity in your marketplace? Right? There are 32,000 rental units in Windsor and Essex County. We have 9.6% of it at Marta Management. More than half are self-managed by owners who own and manage their own. If you don't know numbers like that, needs to go on your roadmap. You need to figure that out. You don't even know the business you're chasing, or how much of it, or what's available to you, or when you need to consider expanding geographically because you've tapped out your total addressable market locally. Are you the bottleneck? Yes, put your hand up. I know, many of you are the bottleneck, right? Yes, we all suffer from that. We need to fix that, no matter what it takes, at any cost. One neck to choke. Judy's shaking her head. Yep. Judy's the neck to choke at Marta. One neck to choke. Because at the end of the day, what I mean by that is you need one person responsible. If I have a problem at one of my businesses, I can't be like, so all of you, we've misstepped here. That's not going to help you. You need one person accountable, one person responsible. And if you don't have that, you better get it. If you're a bigger business, or you're encroaching on being a bigger business, you're going to want to look at things like geographical expansion. Maybe you've tapped out your total addressable market. Maybe you've reached 25% of your TAM. And if you have, you might want to consider geographical expansion instead. You need to consider expanding what you're offering your current client base. Exploring vertical integration. I talked to you this morning and telling you a little bit about my background and story, about the ways we've vertically integrated. I probably have, no word of a lie, a dozen more intended ways to vertically integrate. A dozen. Why would you pay someone else when you could pay yourself? Right? Raising capital. It's hard to raise capital. It's uncomfortable. But guess what? As small businesses, it's even harder to earn enough money and enough profit to viably be able to do the expansion you need to do without raising capital. Of course, negotiating favorable terms when it comes to accounts payable. Making sure you're on top of your accounts receivable process. I can't tell you how many times at Marla I was like, we need to figure out who owes us money and go chase them. I didn't want to be that person to have to do that. But unless you outsource stuff like that or are a big enough team to hire someone internally, then you're the person. And then it goes in the pile and you keep going with your $20 an hour jobs, right? I want you to look through. We're going to spend the next few minutes. I want you to list, starting at the bottom of your roadmap, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on the size of your business, what are the things that you need to consider doing next? You can look at the sheet before where you're at and after where you're at to get ideas, because every business is different. And certainly, anyone who does the group business intensive, we're going to be working diligently together to really drill down on that roadmap, to really drill down on the needs of the people in the room, to make sure that we're appropriately accommodating and giving you the value you need to move to the next step. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to do that, and please just put your hand up if you have questions or you want to talk about your roadmap at all. I can help you through it. I really want you to think about the things that you chose to put onto your roadmap. I really want you to consider those specifically most immediate steps. I want you to look at what you wrote for step 1 right now. I want you to decide one thing that you're going to do this week towards step 1. It might not be step 1, depends how big step 1 is based on what you chose to write down. What's one thing you're going to do, talking to you, my friend, this week? You need more employees. So this week, you need to make a game plan for how to attract good talent. If you want to do our business intensive, so many people have told me they want to do secret sauce to hiring module and predictive index. So we will do that. So many people have said that today. I know hiring is a real problem. Finding the right people in the right seat, it's tough. Decide what you're going to do this week. Maybe for you it's sign up for the business intensive. Make a move, guys. Decide what you need in your life and in your world to start your way on your roadmap. Tell me how many people think that they're incredible at keeping promises to themselves. Do I have anybody? You too. I'd love to talk to both of you about some of the strategies you use. Most people really struggle keeping promises to themselves. If I say I'm going to get up at 5, I need to get up at 5. If I say I'm going to go to the gym 4 times this week, then I need to go to the gym 4 times this week. If I say I'm going to do X amount of email before I go to bed instead of watching Netflix or whatever, then I need to keep that promise to myself. And let me tell you, most of us suck at that. Most of us. It's really hard to be accountable to yourself. Most of us can be relatively accountable to other people. Most of us, if we tell our business partner or our boss or our kid that we're going to do something, most of us can generally find a way to get it done. But when we're planning for our own business, for the most part, it's really tough to follow through. So when you're looking at your roadmap, like I said earlier, most of the time when you go to your next step and you hit a wall, you just turn and go the other way until you hit a wall in that direction and that direction and that direction, and now you're just spinning. Now you're just spinning, you're in the grind, you're doing the day-to-day, you're doing $20 an hour tasks because you keep hitting roadblocks. And other times you didn't do it just because you didn't do it, because there's just not that many hours. Right? There's just not enough time. And the problem is that when our to-do lists are long, and most of ours are, then we really struggle to find a way to do the things that will advance us forward the most. We really struggle to do the things that will collapse decades into days. Instead, we call the client, we collect the money, we do a bank run, we do a couple interviews, we post two, 3 posts on social media, and we're like, literally, where did my day go? Right? Where did my day go? So, to help with this, one of the things that I've done is I've created the We Do Accountability Group. The We Do Accountability Group is a group that's getting together once a week on Zoom. At the beginning of each call, I am speaking on business-specific topics. And then on the back half of the call, we're talking about the business owners and what their commitments were and if they did them. Legitimately, if you did what you said you would do. And if you didn't, why? Sometimes it's like, I just didn't get to it. Sometimes it's just there wasn't enough time. But sometimes there are roadblocks. Sometimes there are obstacles that we face that we just don't know how to get past. Or maybe we do know how to get past, but we know it's going to be tough. It's a long road. It's going to take more time, more hours, more work, more hardship, more struggles, more frustration. So we say, let's just try something else. There's so many things to do in that pile. I'll just pick up something else. So we're going to talk every single week about the commitments we've made to ourselves and to our business in order to 5x our profit and roadmap our way to the business we really want to be. If that's you want to get away from the day-to-day, if that's you want to have an income-producing asset, if that's I want to expand geographically, we're going to talk every week about the things that need to be next, and if you did it, and if you didn't, why, and how can we work together to get through it and over that obstacle instead of just turning and going in the other direction, and turning and going in the other direction, and turning and going in the other direction. And before you know it, you're going to be at the next Light Your Business on Fire, making a roadmap that looks much like the one you made today. I've created this We Do Accountability Group as a way to help business owners because it's something I needed. And it's something I didn't have available to me at the time. And if it was, I just didn't know it. So, the We Do Accountability Group is $200 a month. It's a 4-month minimum commitment because I really believe as business owners, we need at least that much time to be able to follow through on some of the promises that we make to ourselves. This is applicable if you have a business. It's applicable if you don't. Because all of us have things that we want to do, that we want to make happen, that we want to institute in our lives to be better people, better leaders, better business owners, and every one of us have things that get in the way of that. every single day. So let's at least commit to each other and commit to our business that every week, once a week, we will come together and look each other in the eye and talk about what got done and what didn't, and how we can make sure that we stay on the right path. Because it is very easy to diverge. Sorry, I have no idea what just happened. I'll leave that to Chris. To diverge from this roadmap into a place where you're all the way over here. How many people here have shiny object syndrome? Where you're like, oh, this seems like a really cool idea. Oh, right? We all do it. Tom, I'm coaching with Tom right now. We talk about this all the time. Whoops, what's over there? Let's do the thing that we're actually trying to do. And by the way, let's not just talk about it. Let's actually do it. Talking about doing push-ups and doing push-ups are not the same thing, right? You got to do the work. So if you want to be part of the We Do accountability group, you can see Judy on the side. She will hook you up and get you set up for the Zoom. It's going to be a weekly call every week. If you can't make it, they will be recorded, but we are going to work diligently to accommodate schedules and make sure that we can come together to actually ensure that you're being held accountable to the things you say you're going to do. Because like me and almost every entrepreneur I know, keeping promises to ourselves is one of the hardest things, and one of the things that truly caused me to take 15 years to get where I've gone. And I'm confident that if someone had held me accountable a little more often, a little more frequently, and help me get over those roadblocks I was facing instead of just spinning in circles eventually, I would have collapsed decades into days. So we're going to take a couple-minute break. If anybody needs the restroom, feel free. If you're interested in We Do, please see Judy. As we talked about this morning, the group accountability call, you can also see Judy for that. We're going to be doing pre-calls to get to know the business owners interested. So take a few minutes, do that, get yourself signed up, and really, guys, take the action. Whatever that action is, if it's not the We Do accountability group, if it's something that you know you have to do in your life, if you know you need for your roadmap, do it and don't wait. Because if you wait, I'm going to see you again in the spring when we do this event again, sitting here building the same roadmap. So thank you very much, everybody, and please take this opportunity to go see Judy. Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're going to be talking about content ideas. The biggest question I've had today from people is I don't know what to talk about for my video content. I don't know what to say. You know, we were like, oh, you know, Cody was like, we're a pest control company. What the hell do I even talk about? There's lots of ideas. Even when you think that there isn't something to talk about, there is something to talk about. I'm going to show you some easy ways to come up with content. I'm also going to talk about the importance of content pillars, which maybe some people have not heard about that concept before, but we're going to dive into it. It is so critical. The reality is that when I first started creating content, I was honestly all over the place. I would do some leadership content, I would do some stuff on hiring, I would do some stuff on consulting and coaching and video content. I would throw in some stuff on poker and gambling. I would be all over the place, and it was an absolute nightmare. And so therefore people would follow you maybe for hiring support and videos and leadership, but then when I throw in some content stuff, they're like, oh, this isn't what this guy's talking about. What you really want to do is you want to have some themes around your content in order to have that so that there's some predictability when you're putting yourself out there. Because if you're all over the place, it's never going to work out well for you. It's honestly, I call it content chaos. And then sometimes we're also overwhelmed by the amount of platforms that are out there. Okay, raise of hands, who's on more than 4 social media platforms? Okay, we got about, I'd say like a third of the audience, right? There are multiple platforms out there. I always say if you're just starting out on social media, just try and focus on 1 or 2 max. You don't have to be everywhere. You have to find which channel's the best one for you. And if you want to learn more and we can talk through that, I can we'll just book a free call with me and I'll be able to tell you what are some of the best ways to do. But you have to ultimately choose appropriately. A lot of people struggle with the idea of having fresh and engaging ideas though, because they just don't know what to say, what to do. And then they get discouraged. They post something, it doesn't work out, and then they stop. They don't do anything again for a while. And I know I see some people who are shaking their heads that they know that they're guilty of that as well. I will not call anybody out, but I know that that is Chantel just put her hand up, so she's calling herself out. But that's a true reality, right? If you kind of do it here and you do it here and you maybe do it not again for months. Some businesses only post on holidays. It's Christmas, it's Easter, Thanksgiving. That's the only time that they post. And I think we all know some of those companies because I hear some laughing going on. That is so true though. And again, that lack of focus makes sure that everything is diluted, and unfortunately that's just going to lose you customers. They're overwhelmed by it, and so that's going to ultimately lose to lost sales. At the end of the day, we're trying to make money here. So I want to talk about content pillars. This is really the foundation of what your business is about. Content pillars are the themes that really represent your core message. It really helps you be consistent across all of your platforms, and it's going to help make sure that everything is just going to engage the right people. Does anybody here already have content pillars? Do they already know this concept and do they have this in their business? Or is this new for everybody? You kind of have it, right? So actually it seems like everyone else then doesn't have it. Technically, Jordan, you do have it, you just don't know it because I do all your stuff for you. You 100% have it, but you just don't know about it because it's hands off. That's another plug, I guess, for what I sell and what I do. But at the end of the day, this just keeps you consistent overall. Now, content pillars are going to help you with creating content 50% faster. This is a way just, again, to streamline your content creation process. It's a way to make sure that everything aligns overall, that you are staying within your lane more than anything else. Or I'm going to use my word, you go all in, right? You're all in on that area and what you're going to focus on. It's going to make things so much easier. And the thing is, this is not just for videos. Blog posts, you could have content that's specific around that. You're looking for your social posts. If you're looking for podcasts, if you're looking for emails, what are the themes you want all of your content for your entire business to be surrounded around? So it's one content strategy, but across multiple platforms. Like I said, across blogs and videos and content and emails and podcasts. It's going to make sure that no matter what, you're on the same page across the board. Now, again, I've already asked the question. A lot of you don't have content pillars, but do you have an idea of maybe core areas that maybe you should focus on? Lee, you said you're shaking your head like you think you have an idea of what you want to stay on. I'm putting you on the spot again. I know.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm not going to be making those grand gestures in your things, then you call me out. Okay, so yeah, I think that I need to start doing the things that the clients are looking for. So letting them know that I do countertops and focusing on that. Letting them know that I do the design work, letting them focus on that. So, and then our product, so both the cabinet lines, and then also something that we don't do but I need to do is more of Mom and I, and so they get to know us more behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes is an awesome point, right? When you talk about, your mom and yourself, like you have to be able to share the personal side of it. And a lot of businesses, and I know I've been very guilty of this as well over time, is like I'll do a lot of telling versus showing. And to be able to like show behind the scenes, what is our team like? What's our culture like? I started getting more business just when I started featuring more Raquel. And Raquel was always super nervous to be on camera. But when I start to feature more of her or stuff like what's it like to kind of work together, that's the stuff that really starts to generate. It's like, I really want to support a small business like us. So that stuff is really important. It's figuring out what those core themes are that you can align all of your messaging around. Your website can be aligned around that. If you are putting out long form content, that's around that as well. Your blog posts, it's just cohesiveness is what you're ultimately trying to do. So, who here is using ChatGPT or AI in their business already? I would say it's about maybe 40%. Who has never heard of it before? Got one. Great. I love you being honest, James, right? And so, in the back, we just did a quick thing with ChatGPT individually there in our one-on-one, right? But it's like, it is so important to actually start to leverage this technology because AI is literally not going anywhere. It's only going to continue to intensify in its use and what its capabilities are and what you can do with it. But you can use AI to help you with creating more ideas at scale. AI is what I would say, it's going to get you 80% of the way there. You as a human still have to bring the remaining 20%. If you just solely rely on ChatGPT, it's not going to be as effective as it could or should be. So AI, or I'm going to use in this case ChatGPT, it's going to help you defining what your content pillars are. And what I'm going to do, and this might be one if you've got your phone on you, or if you're tied in, if you've got your laptop here or a tablet here, you might want to pull up ChatGPT as we start to do this. I'm going to give you some prompts where you can actually start to come up with your content pillars on the spot here if you wanted. But it's going to help you define what your content strategy should be. It's going to help you with generating ideas for blogs and for videos and for other types of content. It's going to provide outlines and drafts and structure your content. I'm actually going to, based on the time that we have, I'm going to actually just bring up my ChatGPT, and we can even play around with some of your businesses, whoever wants to volunteer and have a strategy just done for free here. We're going to do that here on the spot. And it's also just going to help make sure that there's some consistency. The power of ChatGPT, I think, to me, is really when you start getting into the pro version, where you're starting to leverage all the features, being able to use, everyone familiar with the custom GPTs that you can build? Colin, you 100% are. Absolutely, I know that. Where you can actually have everything more customized. I will show you some of how I'm doing some of my secret sauce behind the scenes with this. At the end of the day, you can get massive amount of time back by using AI. I use AI throughout in my business, especially on the idea generation side. It's not what produces all of my content, but it's a way for me to gain massive amounts of time back to brainstorm and then to able to add that extra flavor, my own spin on it. It is all about the prompts. If you've not used it, we'll get into that, but it is literally, if you put in a garbage prompt, you're going to get garbage results. If you just say, give me 10 ideas to do for videos because I'm a mortgage agent, just because you're all right here, it is going to give you very generic, very lackluster video ideas. Now, if you go and say, I'm going to put in the Lens City website, I want you to learn more about what we do. I want you to also tailor content geared towards people who live in the Windsor-Essex region. And I want you to do ones that are going to be based on some of the core problems that maybe real estate investors have or first-time home buyers have. And I want 10 ideas, and each idea I want a captivating hook, I want some value, and I want a CTA. That is a long prompt, but that'll be way better quality content than you will ever get. But people don't know that you have to feed so much into the machine. You got to teach it exactly what to do. So every time I will create any sort of content, I'm feeding it and feeding it just to get enough generated so I get some real customization that's going to give me the best answer possible. At the end of the day, we all want to save time, and it's going to take a little bit more to put in the prompt, but it's going to be way better for you. Everyone get me so far? Making sense? Again, 80% of the way it's going to get you there. There's a difference between paid versus free, which I'll show, but teach it as much as you possibly can. Okay, who's got some strong competitors that you're always looking at, seeing what they're doing, and you'd love to be able to either do what they're doing better or do a version of it? Anybody who's competitors? Why not take some of your competitors' websites and information and feed that to ChatGPT and say, this is our competitor, this is us. Do an analysis between the two based on what you see online. And then say, where are the gaps and how can you help me recommend some ideas that I can differentiate myself between competitor A and competitor B? It will do that. You can also upload full financial documents if you want to and have it analyze those documents and see trends in your business. Right? Go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It is incredibly powerful. It's the best $25 a month that I spend. Well, there's probably other stuff as well that I'll try to think of. I spend money on you, so I guess that's probably the best. But at the end of the day, it is so good to be on the pro version. But imagine that. Your eyes just lit up when I said about the competitors.
Oh, yeah, really?
I
use Claude.ai every single day of my life.
But it's
Our meetings are now Claude.
yeah. But it's the amount of information you could get. So analyze the entire competitor. What are they doing across the board? and say, what are some of the strategies in place? And here's what we do. Even have it take a look at your website and be like, can you summarize for me what my company's all about? I did that for a couple other websites that I have, and I was like, shit, that's not exactly what I'm trying to convey, but that's how the AI is interpreting it, which means I got a messaging problem. It's like, think of the AI as a problem solver. I call it, no offense Raquel, the best employee in my business. Because it also is so efficient. I actually have some threads that I've built where I actually have given like the version like a name. So like when I was focused on a hiring company at one point that I called it Alan. I say, Alan, we've got a new client that we're trying to do hiring for, and it just kind of keeps responding back and forth. So like just to give some personality and stuff to it. Always, I don't put this on here, always be nice to the AI too, because we've all seen like Terminator, we all know, Skynet. So just be careful, so just be friendly, like don't cause us to go into a real bad state as a society. Be nice to AI. Okay, I'm going to share with you my top 2 prompts. Now, this is going to be a lot of text that you're going to see on the screen here, okay? But this is going to be stuff that's going to help you inside the pamphlet, though. I do have one of them completely written out here on content pillars. So we're on section 4 here, where I've kind of listed off some examples of content pillars, and by that I mean like educational content, behind the scenes, testimonials, case studies, promotional content. This prompt that's in the middle, this middle box, is the game-changing one that you need to write down and ultimately implement to come up with the ideal content pillars for your content strategy when it comes to marketing. Okay, so again, there's a lot of text on here. I am going to read this because I hate to read stuff, but we're going to read this one here. So content pillars are 4 topics your brand will consistently discuss. So I'm basically telling ChatGPT what I want it to know and to reference. And say, we're going to be creating 4 content pillars, and in the yellow, you're going to put your target audience. So somebody throw who their target audience is right now. Like, who are you ultimately trying to target in your business? Give me an example. Homeowners. Yeah. Sure. Luxury homeowners, right? So you would say, create 4 content pillars for luxury homeowners in the Windsor-Essex region. Give a little bit more context. That showcases my area of expertise. What is your area of expertise? What's in one sentence or a couple of words you can say your area?
Kitchen design and management.
Okay, so you put that into ChatGPT and then say for each pillar, I want you to explain the importance of that pillar and then why it will attract my target audience. And then give me some subtopics around this and be very specific for each pillar and ultimately straightforward as well. What it's going to spit out for you will be a bit of an essay, but it's going to break it out into these 4 core areas, and it's going to give you some subtopics and ideas that are going to be like, oh, that's great. Now, if you don't like some of the topics, you can obviously say, give me a couple more to kind of pick and choose. But it was so huge when, I do this for all my clients. They just don't see it because I'm creating the content for them. But here's my example of my prompt. I said, I've already fed it information, so it knows about all-in content. And then as a result, I say, we batch create videos for small businesses and solopreneurs in the Windsor-Essex region. As a result of that, the suggestion was for my core pillars, I should be talking about video batching in all of my content. I should be talking about video strategies, content creation, and betting on yourself. So therefore, you will see, because again, a year ago I created content, I don't have to create any more since until now, all of my content is going to be geared around this. All my blog posts for my website, all of my social media posts, all my videos, all my podcast episodes, everything is going to be in these 4 categories. So therefore, anybody lands on any of my channels across LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, all of them, everything's going to be here. So it's going to be super consistent so they know this is what Hanna talks about. This is what all-in content talks about. I've got consistency. There's no more confusion in the audience. And it makes life so much easier. Since we've been doing this, has anybody started filling in their own content pillars? Cody, did you start filling it in?
I did.
You just did that prompt? Okay. And what's it looking like for you? If you might, I'll give you the mic here.
I don't know. It's pretty nice, pretty thorough.
Okay, so explain what you got here. So you put in the prompt, and it's saying your pillars could be
Seasonal pest prevention, and they give several subtopics of what I could be talking about in that vein of that pillar. DIY pest control tips.
Genius.
Great thing to post. Understanding pest behavior. I mean, it's good. It's good stuff.
And the fourth one,
Preventative maintenance and long-term solutions.
Like plan.
here's what's interesting. We sat together here for a little bit at lunch. You're like, I don't know, what would I even talk about for videos?
Like that.
Kind of, in a way. But now you've got some major categories or pillars for your business that you could actually create a bunch of subtopics around. You could just then take ChatGPT and say, here's my content pillars that I have for my business. As a result of this, I would like for you to come up with 25 ideas per pillar. And I would like these ideas to be clear and concise. Well, again, with a captivating hook, you could give us some examples. You could also upload a bunch of hooks. I've got a template tool called Ultimate Hooks that I have. And then you can also say, here's the value and here's the CTA. Come up with 100. And then let us do its thing. Pick and choose, see which ones you like or don't like. But there's a way to get really consistent.
What about hashtags? What about hashtags?
You can have ChatGPT do some like hashtag research for you.
Do you have a strategy on how do you determine your hashtags or anything like that? Like what's your...
Yeah, we can get into that, right? But like there's a little bit of like, okay, there's like a 9-box hashtag strategy in a sense where you pick like, who are you actually trying to create content for? Those should be at least 3 of your hashtags. Then you could have some ones that are geared towards local, and then what do you actually talk about? So picking hashtags based on almost like the who, what, and where, you can have your hashtags around that strategy if you wanted to. Faith.
I just have a question because I've always been told that when it comes to business, you don't want all of your posts to be business related because then you become just a commercial. That some of that should be interspersed with your personal.
100%. So if you didn't hear that, Faith was asking about personal posts versus business posts. I always say do at least 20% personal. So think about it. If you do a content 5 days a week, 1 post a day, have at least 1 be personal. Mix that in. You know, after this event, we're going to go to the Windsor Spitfires hockey game tonight. And so what we'll do is we will probably take a picture of ourselves at the game, having some fun. We'll maybe do a little video. Adding some of that personal stuff is really good. That's beneficial. Always try and throw in some personal content. You're going out for a date night with your spouse, or you're going traveling somewhere. Creating that content, sharing it. Your kids. If you feel comfortable putting your kids online. Chantel, you will put your daughter online. You will share content. Always mix some of that in because people buy from people. So therefore, they want to know you as a person, not just your business. They don't buy from the business. I'll use myself as an example. They don't buy from All In Content. They buy from Chris Hanna. Same thing is they're going to buy from you versus the business itself. Personal brands is where it's going to be at. Okay, so then the other prompt that I want to give you is about analyzing your website. I didn't put this into the pamphlet, but this is super simple and easy to do. Acting as whatever expertise you need. So somebody throw out their industry. Yell it out. Not, what's that? Okay, so health and beauty and skincare products. So acting as an expert in the health and beauty and skincare products industry, I want you to review my website. Put your website in. First, fully summarize who I am, what I do, and afterwards I'm going to follow with more instructions. So first it does that. It scans everything, checks out your entire site. Then you go to the second prompt. Now, using your knowledge of my site, and hopefully it gave a good summary of what you did. If not, you probably got to change your site around. And as an expert in whatever that industry would be, so health and beauty, I want you to propose whatever you're looking at trying to solve. So maybe I want you to propose 10 new strategies that I can come up with for 2025 to help me grow and feature my business. I want you to help me hiring people with my landscaping and wind or maintenance company. I want you to help me share my expertise in whatever way, but please be thorough, clear and concise, and give me actionable steps. And the reason I say actionable steps is because it breaks it down for you really, really well. And then also explain to me why it's important for my business with helping me achieve whatever that goal is that you're trying to do. Very different than a generic, just help me do this. Has anybody here been like, okay, I never even thought of some of this content before? Or is this all just like entry level, you guys already got this, your masters? Mix, or you're just tired? Okay. So this helps so much being able to actually break it down and just get some clarity. So if you are ready to simplify your content strategy, I think AI is definitely the way to go. Before I get into this, where I can share some of it, I'm happy to sit there based on time. Where's Chris Coffin? How much time do I have, Chris? 23 minutes. Okay, so we're going to spend the next, say, 10 minutes. And I'm going to do some stuff just with ChatGPT. Anybody want to come up and tell me about your business, and we can see if you solve some problems using ChatGPT together?
I don't want to, but I have a question.
100%, yeah.
Okay, so I have my career, and then I have my side hustle, and then I have my passion project that I want to start. Right now I do ChatGPT under 3 different email addresses, so then it's only about the Cabinet Studio, only about that, and only about that. Should I be putting it all in one, buying the Pro, and then, or will it confuse the AI?
It won't confuse the AI, no. So each new, I'll call it a thread, essentially, that you're creating, it remembers and retains information now. It never used to before.
Right.
So it depends on what you're trying to ultimately do with it. The other option is you can create what's called a custom GPT, which I might as well just show you, because it retains instructions, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Julie, I just bought the Pro now. I just bought the Pro right now.
Good?
No, I've already done like 3 things.
Well, that's good. That shows the value of it. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to set the mic down, so I'll just probably yell as I'm trying to talk, because I can't hold the mic and type. Okay, so here I am. This might be hard. That is a little blurry. Let's see if there's a way to make that cleaner.
I'll still go to the other side.
What would sharpen that up? I don't want to mess with it. All right, I'm just going to talk through as I'm doing some of this. On this side here, it's hard to tell, but essentially what I've got here with these all-in content logos are custom GPTs that I have created. So in here, we're just going to move around a lot. I've created on the side what's called a hook creator, which basically all the hooks that I will create for people, I'm able to put this in, and it basically spits out 5 different versions. Some of these hooks are like negative hooks, some of these hooks are including some swear words, some of these just include different ways to actually kind of hook people in. I've also created one called a viral title GPT, where it's like I want to come up with a specific title to maybe post for YouTube content for somebody. I got another one on video batch creation that we'll do, kind of come up with ideas, how to write different posts. So essentially, I can create these custom ones which retain instructions, to your point. So I can go in, I can create something. You can make it accessible to other people to use if you want, or just to yourself. But it's like, if you are doing the same questions over and over again, just create a custom GPT and it stores it all in there.
That's why I was doing it on different emails, like addresses signing in. But then I'm like, oh shit, now he doesn't know about this because it was in another chat.
It's another one, yeah. So I create the custom ones for things I'm going to have recurring that's going to happen over and over again.
Awesome.
Right? And then it's just all there. And then you can make tweaks and adjustments as you maybe see the prompts. What's cool is then you turn on what's called, actually, if I see if I can just bring it up at the same time and show you. I'm going to create custom GPT. There's instructions that you can essentially do, and it'll start to ask you, where are you based? What do you want to do? You fill out all this information, and then you can add on. Do you want it to be able to browse? So yeah, I want it to be able to all my GPTs, I have that access the internet, because I want it to look at competitors. I want it to look at mine. I want it to go and search other websites and find information. Then there's the code analyzer, where I can take financial statements as an example, and I can upload it to ChatGPT and have it analyze it for me. Or I will take an RFP that I've done. I'm like, oh, this association maybe has written something like 20 pages. Well, have it maybe distill the key parts for me. So I don't have to read, I still will read it, but I don't have to do as much. It can summarize that. Or I can sit there and I can upload this entire PDF, and I did do that to also summarize what's my key points. Here's the thing I'll tell you. Every word on here was written in some way by ChatGPT. This was, and I'm saying from the perspective of it took everything I put in my presentation, and then it said, here's the great summary that we kind of need by uploading the document. So anyways, if we go back to this here, if there's any business here who wants to do on the fly in the next 10 minutes, I can come up with some content stuff or some strategies around ChatGPT. Your hand flew up fast. What would you like help with in ChatGPT?
I'd love to know what
Holding the microphone doesn't help.
Okay. Can I have your website? You want to come up here, actually, if you don't mind?
So I'm on Etsy right now. It'll still work.
I'll do it.
All right, now you can hear us. All right.
Okay. What?
Can't hear through the
Stand
mic
away
anyway.
for a few minutes.
What's your?
Etsy, so the olive tree is
You
so
speak to her. You can't hold it there.
The olive tree.
Oh, the olive tree.
Yeah. Olive tree is so cool. And it's on Etsy. So
Cool, or just like that?
yeah.
Right here. All right. So what I'm going to do, and now we'll see if it'll scan through Etsy, because some of these other sites it might not scan through.
I'm wondering. Okay.
Okay. So what I'll say is this: review. Don't worry about my typing. As soon as I'm typing in front of people,
I know. I do that too.
you start to fall apart. I type normally really good, people, just so you know. Okay, review this website and help me come up with content pillars. Now, I'm kind of doing a cheat code on this one here because my entire content pillar prompt is built into this ChatGPT that I have. So I don't have to type everything else, which is great. But it's going to see if it's going to actually review your site or not. Well, that'll be the question. So it's searching the web. Okay, it can't access it directly. Here's the trick. Control A. Now here's the thing. So it's giving me generic stuff as we talk, though. It's saying based on the general nature of the business, assuming this is what it handled, like what it does, it's suggesting natural and organic skincare education, self-care and wellness routines, sustainability and ethical practices, craftsmanship and product creation. It's giving some subtopics associated with it. I'm going to give the specifics from your website now, just to copy and paste it.
You said that.
How do you do that?
Control what?
I just controlled A and copied everything. Control A and C, right? Who are you trying to create content for?
So my target audience is probably women between 55 to 45. And they have like disposable income that they're able to invest in their own software.
Women.
They care about like natural, ethical products.
Who care about natural and ethical products. Thank you for the assist, Chantel, with the mic. This is great. All right, so I just copied everything from the site, and now it's kind of popping stuff in. So it's giving us some more information about obviously your demographics, where you could potentially be. Now I'm going to say, give me 4 content pillars and subtopics.
What you showed me, was that a countdown or a countdown?
Countdown.
Boom. In no time at all. And here's the thing what we could do, is I could take all of these and say, let's break this down into some more ideas, essentially, right? And then you just continue to break it down and refine from there. Then you pick and choose from there. I'll take that back, thank you. That is how you'll be able to do it. So using that prompt. Thank you for coming up and volunteering. So, now for those people who are looking for, I'd say like a more personalized help and support, I am offering a service here today for this event where I call it the All-In Content Blueprint. We're going to come up with your content strategy for you for the rest of this year and for 2025. We're essentially going to come up with a 2-hour virtual session with myself, one-on-one in your business. So we're going to come up with your entire content pillar strategy. As a result of that, we're going to also then come up with a personalized workshop for you and or your staff if you want to have as well, around how to better use ChatGPT, how to use some of the other AI tools that I also use in my business, because I could do this all day with the amount of different software and tools that are out there. Basically customizing how can you better leverage technology to be super efficient at this process. So again, your entire marketing strategy and everything you need to do with it. And I'm going to give you a 100 plus of all my AI prompts and tools that I ultimately use that are geared towards not just content creation, how to more effectively create processes in your business, how to ultimately help with hiring in your business, how to actually take every aspect of the business, sales, marketing, ops, finance, everything you need, entire prompt library that I have as well. The full cost and value of this is $1,200. I'm doing it today for $500 plus HST. I'm only doing this program for 7 businesses though, based on just obviously the time to make sure I'm dedicated towards, giving you the best experience possible. But you can really use technology and AI to gain time back. At the end of the day, this whole day has been about getting time back, compressing time for you, giving tips and tricks. This will save you massive amounts of time and energy, and you're also going to have better quality work as a result of it, because it's not going to be just the generic prompts that are out there. This is personalized to your business. So if you are interested in that, come see me afterwards, and we'll be able to kind of set that up for you as well. Outside of that, my guarantee is also this. If you don't find value in the coaching session, it's free. I'm going to give you this for free. So I'm hoping that you will, and I believe you will, but I don't want your money. I don't want your money if you don't think if it's worthwhile what we're going to go through. Yeah, we're going to spend 3 hours together, and we're going to come up with some customization around how you can better utilize AI. But if you don't find that to be valuable in any way, I'll give you your money back, no problem. That's my guarantee, because I believe it to be so valuable, it's going to be a no-brainer. But if you, for some reason, don't think it is, money's back. Again, this is kind of the end of everything that we've kind of done today, but I appreciate your time around, listening to me for these 2 sessions. At All In Content, again, as it says here, 1 day, 1 session, however you want to do it, we set you up for months of consistent content. Yes, we're utilizing AI for some stuff on the idea generation side, but we're focused on all in on the Windsor-Essex region with helping make videos and content easier. If you're looking for help on your strategy, love doing that, because that's able to help you really take it to that next level. So again, we've got the session where we offer all the bonuses associated with that. Like, even look at this picture here. This is a headshot that I shot with Marla. So if you're looking for headshots as part of that bonus, this is a great picture here, plus some of the other pictures that you have. So obviously we can produce some high quality content. We've got some people here who can speak on what we do. But if you're looking for help, you want to really go all in and win with content, let's connect. So, is Marla, who's that? Marla, we're going to come back up to here. We're going to find Marla. In the meantime, feel free, if one last chance for the draw. Chris, do you mind if in a second you're bringing these up? We're going to actually draw these and then give some time for some closing remarks. And then, again, a little bit of networking before we get kicked out of here. And hope you guys have learned a lot today. I know we've kind of packed a lot in. And if you've got questions on anything, on what we're offering, the different ways that we can help you, again, it's about compressing time more than anything else.
Last chance, if you want to put anything in the draw, does anyone not put theirs in?
If you have not put your ticket in, now is your opportunity. Make sure, if you haven't had a chance to grab some business cards off of the business card exchange table, please do that. Chris has really offered some wonderful products here today that I think you all need to consider. I think that we all know the importance of social. We all know the need to be prevalent and relevant as people scroll their way through their day, right? Isn't that the reality? We talked about the group business intensive this morning. I really think you should consider doing it, because I think it's going to give you a level of awareness you just didn't have before. This afternoon, we talked about accountability. We talked about keeping promises to ourselves and how difficult that is. I think that the opportunity to have me looking at your business every week is of a value that will far exceed any couple $100 that you're going to spend. Take the time. I know it's hard because we're all in the grind, and I've heard that from people today. How do I do a 1-day group business intensive when I'm trying to run my business? How do I do that when I'm taking phone calls, sending emails? Clients need things, employees need things. How do I take a day and record batch content if I'm out there on calls? If I'm digging a hole, what do I do? How do I make that happen?
We'll show up and we'll actually record you digging in that hole, and that's how we'll do it.
Legit, and that is good content, by the way.
If you don't take time to work on your business, you will always work for your business.
Couldn't have said better myself, Judy. If you don't take the time to work on your business, you will always work for your business. And if that's the choice you want to make, if you want a job, you're there.
Yeah.
You've created that for yourself, and that's great. If you want more than that, if you want an income producing asset, then outsource your social and make time to be accountable and to do some work on your business with us. We're going to be working with the people that have come forward wanting to do the group intensives regarding availability. Some people have mentioned Saturdays would be great for them. If the weekend would be better, during the week would be better, we'll be working with you to figure out what's going to be best and what's going to be most suitable, and we'll really be working to tailor and customize the content to fit the people in the room. Okay? So we have some items to draw that we would be, thank you, Chris.
Name is Vanna White.
Woo! Thank you.
They've been shaken.
They've been shaken. Sorry for whoever was on top. Okay. All right. So we've got a couple of hours of coaching with myself. So I'll just go ahead and draw a name here. Oh, there's only one in here. That's good.
Come on, people.
Woo! You're in. Brett. My man, you're in. Awesome. We'll set something up. All right. Couple of personalized coaching with Chris.
We got you right there.
You go. Perfect,
That's so funny. So we will be diving in deeper for you.
Let's start today.
There you go.
Got a head start. Now he knows what you want to work on. All right, we've got this beautiful 15-piece knife set. Michelle, there you go.
This one.
And
And then we got 4 tickets to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Leighton. There you go.
right on. Here, my friend. Michelle, you can grab it on your way out. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So what we'd like to do is we'd love to take an opportunity to take a group picture. So we're going to do that, and then we'll give you guys a few minutes. You can network. If you're interested in any of the offerings that we've made today, you can see Chris. You can see Judy. We'd be more than happy to help you. If you have questions, please see me directly or Chris, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. Our goal is to help you. Our goal is to add value and make your business more efficient, to collapse those decades into days. So thank you very much for joining us today. I hope everybody enjoyed the lunch. And we are going to be sending out a survey for feedback, because as I talked about, feedback is our best opportunity for improvement. So please, please take the few minutes on your email to fill it out. That'll be going out later today.
Yeah.
I'll say one final thing too, is to remember that when you're trying to look at your business, you're trying to take it to that next level. And again, it is not about the how. How do I do this? It's about the who. So whether it is Marla or I or somebody else, at the end of the day, it's about the who. That's what's going to make the difference for you as you're continuing to grow, to scale,
100%.
to take it to that next level, and ultimately ignite your growth. And as we said, light your business on fire.